The favorites, we here for the latest. South side or the north side, not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams, both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball, but we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah, it's that time of the year now. Wrigley or guarantees for the whole league that we here now. New show with a new mood, discussions and interviews, trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
Hey there, ho there, hi there, everybody. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, April 4th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zwoski, a.k.a. Father Zoe. Just call me Zoe. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
We've all seen the Jay Cuda tweets. I mean, we got to bet White Sox money line the next two games, right? Because if the script follows, I think the Braves went on a little 3-game winning streak back in 21. It's getting creepy. Did you see the
White Sox World
birthdays?
Series?
The manager and the bench coach birthdays?
Yeah, that Jay kid will pull up.
Creepy, but in a good way for Sox fans?
He'll pull up stats that, it's all right. We'll get into that. And
fun,
the good Reverend K Fitz. It is fun.
Happy birthday to Clubhouse leader and centerpiece Andrew Vaughn. It's a good world right now. Belly bombs are happening off the scoreboard. It's April.
Fucking ball in the air, Andrew. Anyways, that should give you in. We actually have real baseball to talk about. No more off-season pockets. This is the first official Pinwheels episode of the actual season because last week we were the eve of. And you know what? We're going to come out of the gate hot. We got a great show lined up for everybody today. I'm really excited about it. We got two really great guests, two friends of mine, two people that I've interacted with. You've all probably interacted with a bunch on White Sox Twitter. We have Ian Eskridge from Future Sox. He's going to be joining us in a couple minutes. And then we have Missy Carroll, who runs Southside Behavior, as well as I think she raps now.
And she runs the dope game too. She runs the dope.
We got to get
Five Tool social media player.
I will try to find the video so we could just randomly play it while she's talking. The rap she did for the 108. I hope she's not listening right now. So we got a packed show for you. We got real baseball to talk about. And yes, HBIC, we will talk about Garrett Crochet's butt. All that and a lot more. Let's tap this keg. As always, the show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app. Turn on the push notifications so you'll be the first to know that next time Andrew Vaughn actually puts a ball in fair territory. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. So let's just bring him out. I'm ready to bring my guy out. You know him. I mean, I guarantee you, if you've ever watched a video clip of any White Sox minor league anything, it's probably from this guy. This is my guy. He's always in our comment section. You've probably heard me, if you watch the show a lot, be like, Ian, is this guy any good? Well, now we're going to bring him on the show because I'm sick of talking to him in the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Eskridge of Future Sox, formerly White Sox Daily. You can find him on YouTube at Future Sox 3295. He runs their Twitch at twitch.tv/Future Sox. My guy, Ian, what's going on, buddy?
How you guys doing? Good to be on. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're glad. We've tried a couple times, but you're a busy man, and the stars didn't really line up in the offseason. Well, because we are 100% back to guys like me who don't normally watch the farm, watching the farm, because the product at the major league level, it kind of sucks. So, like I said in the intro, though, Ian, now what's your official title now? I know Future Sox, you guys have kind of joined forces and you got a lot going on over there.
I don't know. I do video, I mean, that's pretty much, I do video, I do like editing of articles and stuff like that. I don't, as far as official title, I have no idea. Never really.
Guardian of the massive servers. Is that what Guardian of the servers is? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that was actually from my work.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, just go with like president of video.
Yeah. I mean,
that sounds official.
Yeah.
King of video. Give yourself
digital
a
media director.
People don't give themselves the title of king enough. Well, before we dive into it too,
Godfather Ian.
I know you guys got a lot going on over there at Future Stocks. You guys are doing a lot of good things. I mean, look at the merch, man. The man's even rocking the hoodies. I was out there in the parking lot, and one of your guys came up to me, shook my hand, and slapped a magnet in my hand. It's on my fridge already, of the Future Stocks logo. I mean, you guys are really hustling. I love to see you guys coming out of the gate. Why don't you just take a minute and tell everybody what you guys got going on over there?
So tonight, James and I just talked to Andrew Murphy, the play-by-play guy for the Winston-Salem Dash. That's going to drop tomorrow. Awesome conversation, super nice guy. Gave us a lot of cool info. Had great conversations off air. Obviously, you see the highlights all over Twitter. So I'll have my hands full coming up here as of Friday. I'll have 3 teams to cut up highlights for. No Winston-Salem this week because they're playing against the poverty tourists who have no cameras.
Wait,
in
that's
their
real?
stadium.
There's really teams in 2024 that don't have cameras?
Yeah, and they're Astros affiliate, who just won the World Series and a little while ago, and they've got plenty of money, and they're doing like a $39 million renovation on their stadium, and that stadium's old. Babe Ruth played there, so it's been around a while. But for whatever reason, they don't have any cameras. So
holy shit.
Yeah, so
Little League teams have Gamecast.
Yep. I have Game Changers and
Game Changer.
You can stream the game if you're not at the game half the time.
Yep.
Some parents got a cell phone there streaming the game. So yeah, it's pathetic.
Which Astro affiliate is the AA team, right?
They are Advanced A, yeah.
They're out there using like the Game Changer app and shit.
Yeah. I don't.
I mean, they should.
That's the one Astros affiliate I don't have their hat for. I was going to go grab it and put it on, but I don't even have. I got the Space Cowboys and whatever their AA team is.
Yeah,
they did a Whataburger night, and I have the Whataburger hat.
The only one one of the other teams that I really want is the San Jose Churros, which is San Francisco AAA team, I believe. Maybe it's the A team. I forget what it is, but the churro hat's hilarious.
It's awesome. So, I tend to have a couple beverages and go on the minor league website quite a bit and end up purchasing hats. What's the one with the flying flip flop?
The Shanklas. I forget.
Yeah, there you go.
I forget what team it's an affiliate for though, because like there's so many theme nights. Like I was just talking to Andrew tonight, and they've got the Hype Hens coming, which is like a crazy chicken. And then they've got the Winston-Salem Tobacco Beetles, which I've got that hat on order already. It's like a little beetle driving like a 1920s like deuce. What the heck kind of car is that? Like a I don't know. It's like one of those big long ones. Looks kind of like something you'd see out of a cartoon. It's cool.
I got a Amarillo Sod Poodles hat.
Sod Poodles.
Is that Sod Poodles? Is that what it is? Sod Poodles?
Yeah.
Trash. It's like a cow like holding it like it's got a pee.
Yeah.
I want to warn everyone listening to this. If you are intoxicated, do not go on the minor league website because you will buy shit. Because they got like Ian said, there's all themes. There's a lot of really cool shit. And they've definitely upped their game. They used to never have flex fit hats for us big-headed folk. And now they have a whole like 10-page section of it. It's fantastic. And real quick, though, I want to give a shout out here to our guy, Drew, for the super chat, the Sultan of White Sox minor league baseball. Much appreciation for Ian. And then also, I don't know if you know this, Aldo, but you were just on TV.
Hey.
Aldo just made marquee.
I don't know why.
I mean,
see, like, if you're watching this live, this is what happens, folks, if you drink in like hat shop.
15%. It's brutal.
So, with the minor league season just kind of kicking off.
I wonder if it was like my "fuck you Ricketts" tweet from like 2020 or something.
It won't let me out. Come on, bastard. Where's the
with the minor league season kind of just getting started right now? I know AAA is getting going. I saw the Colson Montgomery double today, Wednesday. Who are you excited to watch? Because you said you watch all 3 teams at all times, like in the monitor of like a bad guy lair. That's how I picture you, by the way.
Well,
like
there'll be 4.
Like the 10 monitors, and like you have a cat on your lap or something.
I only
Okay,
have
4.
It's the Ben Brown tweet.
That's fair. But who are you looking forward to watching this year?
Well, I mean, obviously Colson Montgomery is going to be at the very top. Noah Schultz also is it's like 1A and 1B for me.
Right.
Really looking forward to seeing Noah Schultz get some innings this year. He would pitch 2 innings, maybe 3 innings, depending on, as the season progressed, he'd hit like 3, and they'd cap it. And, he generally made really quick work out of guys. They would limit him to 35 pitches and he'd still get through 3 innings because guys just had absolutely no chance. So that's, obviously the top 2 guys. One guy that I'm really excited to see is Grant Taylor. Is our 2nd round draft pick coming off a TJ LSU guy. And he's, his stuff's really nasty. He's coming in high 90s, huge spin rates, crazy movement on his pitches. I'm really looking forward to seeing him as well. And, to satisfy Beefloaf, I'm also looking forward to seeing Jose Rodriguez when he finally makes his way to Charlotte. So
when do you think that? Well, I guess hold on. Let me backtrack a little bit because I do want to talk to you a little bit about timelines because that's what everybody wants to know. I mean, again, the product at the major league level, not great. So we are in the era again of people getting eager to watch what's going on the farm and also overreacting to what's going on the farm and also wanting to speed up these kids' process. So I have a couple guys here that I want to ask you about. Where do you think they're going to end up, I guess, more at the end of the season, or when do you think they'll be coming on up? And obviously the first one is Noah Schultz. Because
I mean,
it's weird with him, like you said, the innings limit, the pitching limit. They seem like they're going to kind of stretch him out, but then he got hurt a little bit more. There's Aldo on Marquee, and I mean, his stuff is filthy, and we kind of watched Garrett Crochet get the speed version of it. But where do you think Noah Schultz ends up to this season?
So he's starting off at Winston-Salem, and I don't know if they're going to be in a huge rush to bump him up. He's going to be, per my understanding, from what James has heard and other people, he's going to be pitching every Saturday in for Winston-Salem.
Okay.
So I don't know how much. I guess it would depend on how successful he does, and because they're trying to build an innings base here, I would imagine that they probably won't be in a huge hurry to move him up unless he just makes these guys look stupid and there's a little less competition. But I still think that they're going to want to build these innings up. So I don't know how quick they're going to want to move him up in his more or less first full year of pitching,
Right. No, he's out of all of them. I mean, like you said, Colson's probably the most obvious answer there, but the tape on Noah Schultz, the stuff you hear from scouts and people that are, very deep in the industry, and just it gets kind of scary how much they're overpraising this kid. And I guess White Sox fans, we have this instinct to be like, oh shit, this is going to go sideways quick. So that's the guy I'm hoping can make it through. Now, there's a couple position players, especially ones that we got via trade this offseason, that I'm just curious, where do you think a guy like, well, I know Edgar Quero was last year, but like a guy like Edgar Quero or Samuel Zavala or any of those guys that we got via the trade that people are kind of excited about? I know most of them are starting in AA or high A ball, but do you see any of them finishing the year in AAA?
So Edgar Quero, he played AA last year, but they skipped him over Advanced A.
Okay.
Being the Angels, they don't believe in having guys in the minor leagues for very long. I mean, their number one pick, Shenuel, last year got drafted, played about 15 games in the minors, and then they brought him up to the big club.
Sure.
So they don't. And the guy the year before that, whose name is escaping me off the top of my head, he was drafted
Zach
and they
Neto?
brought him up right away as well. What's that?
Zach Neto for the Angels?
Yes. Yeah. Neto. Yeah.
Neto.
Yep. So, he skipped advanced A. So last year when he started, it was kind of, a shock to the system. He did really, really well in low A the year beforehand, but then coming to double A, he struggled a little bit with the trash pandas, and he didn't hit a whole lot of, didn't hit for that power that he had in low A. So, some people were a little bit lower on him when he didn't hit home runs right away. But when he got traded to the White Sox, he actually kind of upped his power a little bit in Birmingham, which is not usual. So
yeah, that's a pretty tough place to hit.
Yeah, if he starts well, he could certainly end up in Charlotte.
Okay.
Samuel Zavala, though, he showed a ton of power last year. I think it's going to be completely performance dependent where he ends up. It could be that he's in double A at the end of the year, but they could also leave him in advanced A because at this point, it's like there's a lot of depth in the minors. There, when we talked to Jim Callis, he said that they went from probably like 26th or 27th in depth last year to like 10th, top 10 in system depth just in that year. So, because in double A, you're going to have Terrell Tatum, you're going to have Jacob Burke, you're going to have, you got Neslony, who's like been bouncing back and forth between Charlotte and Birmingham. Duke Ellis is going to be there. I mean, there's a lot of outfielders in Birmingham. So for Zavala to make his way to double A, he's going to have to push somebody out of the way, which, a lot of those guys are contact first guys. So it could be a little bit easier if he's like hitting dingers every day. But he's going to have to do that,
Yeah, no, I get it. And we've said it on this show about a lot of different situations, but I like what I'm seeing and hearing right now from you because competition like that usually breeds better players. And for a guy like Samuel Zavala, I like to hear that he's going to have to earn his way up and, kind of fight his way to get there because I think that's going to be, where it's at. And Drew, you kind of went right to my next guy that I wanted to ask you about because I'm curious about it too. I like the pick when they had him. What we're talking about is Jacob Gonzalez, the shortstop. He was a first round pick, right? Out of Ole Miss.
Yep.
Yeah. First round pick out of Ole Miss. From what I heard, and please definitely correct me if I'm wrong, not a hot start. Not a hot start for Jacob. So where do you think Jacob ends up this year?
Yeah, to quote Keith Law, not directly because I don't remember the exact quote, but more or less what he said is that some of the scouts he talked to actually went out of their way to say how bad he looked last season in his first taste of minor league baseball.
Stay hot, White Sox.
Not great.
I'm just saying, I watched every one of his Cannonballers games that was streamed, and he had just a bizarre looking swing. When he would take a swing, it looked like he was running out of the box. It was like he was Brett Butler or Ichiro.
Oh, okay.
Which is obviously not going to impact the baseball. And it's not what he did when he was in college. So that was why it was a really weird thing. And so one of the things scouts said right off the bat, and the White Sox said it as well, is that he's going to have to make changes to his swing. And he has. At least from the very, very small sample size that I've seen of swings since spring training kicked off, the swing looks a lot more solid. And I it would be fun for Fids to take a look at his swing from last year, for you guys to do one of those swing profiles that you do. It would be pretty funny to watch some of his swings from last year compared to what the ones look like this year. But there's, like I said, there's only I don't know, maybe 2-3 swings that I've seen on Twitter this year, but it does look a lot better. Looks like he's keeping himself a lot more closed. It looks, swing plan looks a lot better.
Well, that's good. So, I mean, the White Sox have this amazing history with first round picks. So Stay hot, White Sox. So the next guy I got to ask you about, I'd be remiss if I didn't. He's a friend of the show. He's Fizz's guy. How's my guy Tanner McDougal looking?
So I also happen to be a Tanner McDougal guy.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. The stuff is ticking up, and
Yeah.
the curveball is just it's so nasty. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I can't
what's
wait
crazy?
to watch him.
So Tanner's got some filthy spin, right? His spin rate is excessive. His teammate Chris Cortez, who's pitching for Texas A&M right now, you could theoretically say they're either equal or Cortez even has even tighter spin too. It's nuts. And those two guys are terrifying to sit behind a screen and watch, especially during like live BP and stuff like that. And you see the movement and what he does too. And I'm sure you'll get into too. His size. I mean, if you've seen his dad, you know that he's going to eventually. I mean, he's already starting to get the beer gut. It's great. I don't know if he's drinking beer, but his dad is a hoss. He's a guy that you don't fuck with. And Tanner's was always Bambi to us because he was like all legs, like out on the ice, just slipping around. And now he's starting to get that man strength and all that stuff showing up. And it's like he's stepping on top of you too because of his height and his length, and then that spin. So like there's a lot of things that work besides just the spin rate itself, but his delivery is clean. Everything he does through the baseball just makes everything much more just dangerous for him. And
so if things go smoothly for our guy Tanner, do you think he can end up in Birmingham by the end of the year?
Oh yeah, for sure. Again, the only thing that's going to hold him back is that he's going to have to push past guys that are there, or those guys are going to have to push up as well.
Right.
Because there's going to be a ton of pitching in Birmingham as well, and if he wants to get there, he's going to have to pass guys. I mean, you got Mason Adams, Kai Bush, Yosemar Kuzin, which he's had walk issues, and he doesn't really give up a whole lot of home runs, but a lot of singles. Jake Eater's going to be there. Jairo Iriarte is going to be there.
That's how you say his name.
Yes, Jairo Iriarte. Drew Thorpe's going to start off there. There's going to be a lot of guys in Double-A. So
okay. Well, let's talk about the big one because we started chatting about it before we came on, and there's a couple train of thoughts on this with Colson Montgomery starting in AAA. It's like 2 games deep, but it seems like he's looking pretty decent.
5
games. I feel like that's the only guy I see highlights about. Now, before I give my opinion, because you're the one that what kind of timeline do you foresee? Because you know what the product at the major league level looks like. I mean, I had my guest on our preseason show. I think I put him in June, but it seems like that might be hurried up a little bit more since then. But what do you think with regards to Colson?
So tonight, he's coming up in like probably 30 seconds here. And he's I think right now he's 3 for 4. He's got 1 strikeout and he's got 2 singles and a double. I think that's his 6th hit of the year. The first time he's actually hit an extra base hit was earlier when he hit that double. I personally, because he didn't have a huge amount of success at Birmingham, I'd like to see him face pitchers that have advanced approaches.
Okay.
The stuff isn't as good in AAA generally as it is in AA, because a lot of those guys jump, directly from AA to the majors. But in recent years, I'd say that the amount of guys that are jumping from AA to AAA has lessened. There are still there are more guys going to AAA now, even if they've got great stuff. And so you'll still see some guys that are throwing. You'll still see 100 miles an hour in AAA.
Right.
So I'd like to see him get, a couple hundred at bats in AAA before he makes his way up, assuming that he pushes the issue. And, he's putting up numbers that would suggest that, hey, we could bring him up and it will be fine. I will say the glove so far has looked really good.
Oh, that's good to hear. Because that was
Yeah.
one of the bigger knocks people had on him was, he needed to work on the fielding aspect of things. So that's great to hear out of the gate.
Yeah. Throwing arms looked good as well. Throws have been accurate, which for me is a big deal because there were a lot of throwing errors last year, less so on the glove side, more so on the throwing side. So
Okay.
Now,
And then,
Ian, I've
go ahead.
heard about the defensive concerns from Montgomery, and it's good to hear that he's looking good so far. What, offensively speaking, though, I've wondered, like, because I heard so many glowing things, and I saw, obviously, half a season last year coming back from the injury. Like, what's the hole in his swing, or what's, like, the negative thing that people say offensive-wise at the plate?
well, I'd say now that he's they're using the ABS system in the International League, so his actually Lenyn Sosa just struck out, so he's not going to get up. I'd say that his patience and allowing umpires to make his at bats decisions for him impacted him a lot last year. If the ball was not a strike, but he didn't swing at it and it was close, like a lot of the time they were calling it, and that's cost him a couple of, quite a few at bats. With the ABS, I posted yesterday a walk that he took, and these pitches were real close, but not strikes, and so he took the walk, and I'd say the last two pitches of that at bat, from the angle of the camera at least, they looked like they were,
Another fucking
inch away.
for Morel error. God dang it, throws the ball down the right field line.
This is what happens when the Cubs game's up, but we're going to get into that too.
Ian, well, one last thing with that. Is there any concern? Because I remember back when Yohan Moncada came up, great eye, but like he kept getting all those calls going against him, like off the plate, and it just seemed like he had like the most balls out of the zone called for strikes against him. Is there any concerns? Like, don't be too passive, because that's gonna hurt you.
Yeah, I did a tally one time. I'll have to go back and look, but I think it was 73 strikeouts looking for Yohan Moncada on pitches that weren't strikes by the box on MLB.com.
Yeah.
In 2018 or whatever that was. Yeah, brutal. I mean, they're still not using ABS in Major League Baseball, so it's definitely possible. I mean, you saw those strikeouts for Luis Robert the other night where the ball was 5 inches below the zone and he struck out twice, looking at pitches just like that. So yeah, of course it's a possibility, but
Right.
I mean, I won't count that as a negative towards him. The fact that his eye's better than the umpire, I mean, I can't be mad about that.
No, you're right. You're right.
I think that's fair. And the other question I wanted to ask, and you kind of brought it up when you were talking about pitchers making the jump from Double-A. The White Sox do not have the luxury of having like a set in stone rotation. I mean, it's like Garrett Crochet, which we're going to get into more, but Garrett Crochet and then roll the dice on the next 4 guys. Out of these pitchers in Double and Triple-A, and Lord knows there's a lot of them. If you look at the White Sox top 25, it's a majority pitching. Who would you like to see make the jump? Who would you like to see on the South Side this year?
Well, I'll kind of go through guys that we're looking at, right? The guys that we're thinking are going to be the guys who are going to take the next step to join the Major League club. So Nick Nastrini pitched tonight. We were talking about this off air. He is playing the minor league all-star team known as the Norfolk Tides.
Yes, that's
and I think that they've either got 6 or 7 home runs against the Knights pitching, and they're losing to 20-8 right now.
20-8 football score.
Yeah. Nick Nastrini gave up, I believe, 4 runs in 3 innings. He struck out 5. And he was about 60-ish, 65-ish% strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't look particularly bad, but, they're playing in they're playing in Charlotte, where the park factor is like the PCL AAA league, which Fids knows about that with the aces and everything out there.
Yep.
A guy puts that ball up in the air,
See
you
ya.
know, it's probably going out if they get anything into it. You know, there's not a whole lot of those can of corn pop-ups in AAA in Charlotte, at least, you know.
Mhm.
So his command needs work, and it's one of those things. It's like, how fast do you want to push these guys? I kind of think that's why you're seeing, you know, guys like the SP5 signing the other day.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know, it's like, do you want to push these guys super fast? So you end up seeing, you know, 3 innings, which is what Nastrini did tonight, that you see that in the
Mhm.
majors, because then that taxes your bullpen. And that was one of the things that they talked about with Kopech moving him to the bullpen, is for that specific reason. So Jonathan Cannon is another one of those guys that everybody's looking at. And he was supposed to be on the Charlotte Knights roster, and he evaporated between spring training and
Ooh.
now. He hasn't made a start in Charlotte, and I don't know where he is. Somebody, I mean, it's possible that Baloney has him in his trunk somewhere. I don't know.
He tends to do that.
Yeah.
Tends to do
So, yeah, I would like to see him do some things. When he streamlined down to 4 pitches in spring training this year, he did look better, I think, than when he was like screwing around with 7 pitches last year at
Jesus.
points. Yeah,
You
guy
Darvish?
has 9 pitches. He's like you, Darvish, exactly. And Nestrini's kind of the same thing. It's like if Nastrini doesn't end up having like a long career in the majors, he'll end up as a pitching coach. You know, he'll work at Driveline or something like that and be like one of those spin rate gurus somewhere. It'll be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping obviously we don't have to worry about that for a while. Let's see, next on the list. Let me think here.
How's Drew Thorpe looking?
So
I just like his mustache.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like a Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yes, he definitely does. 100% he does.
Yeah. You know, since he got traded to the White Sox in true White Sox fashion, he's gotten bludgeoned to death.
Yep. That makes sense.
And,
that tracks.
Yeah, I mean, it's the exact same thing that happened with Eater, same thing that happened with Kai Bush. As soon as they got traded here, they immediately dumpstered, and so everybody got mad about the trades, and we'll see. But his changeup is just absolutely disgusting. And the thing about Thorpe is that he was throwing in Arizona, and I'm kind of curious to see when Birmingham starts later this week how he does, because I kind of have a feeling that the humidity in the air and the less elevation is probably going to help his slider look a little better.
I would imagine.
Not that that's like necessarily a huge excuse, but that's kind of one of the things that happens at spring training a lot, is that guys go there and for whatever reason their ball, their breaking pitches just don't move as much. So we'll see what happens when he's not in Arizona throwing. I'm curious. So that's a big one for me, because I love the changeup. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely something to watch. He was one of the bigger names, for people that aren't aware. He was one of the bigger names that the Padres sent over in the Dylan Cease trade. He's a big boy. He's built like a brick shithouse. He's 6'4", and guy's in shape, and he's got a pretty cool stash. He's got a pretty big personality from what I heard, and he was one of the guys I was most excited about in that trade. So I really hope it does work out. And I'm looking at his scouting report here. I mean, he's got a 70 grade. His changeup's 70 grade. So I mean, the scouts agree with you that changeup is the real deal. So I'd be very curious to see. And we mentioned earlier, Birmingham's a pretty tough place to hit. So kind of the opposite of Arizona. It might help him out a little bit. I'm interested to watch that. That's
It's 25-8 in Charlotte now.
Muggier.
25-8.
25-8 Grand Slam. Just a
Gee,
second ago.
goddamn. Now, again, just for the people listening, the 25-8 score, the team they're playing the Tide is Jackson Holiday, and it's like an all-star team.
Jerstad,
Yeah.
Connor
Yeah.
Norby.
So
Bunch of
No.
guys. Yeah.
while we got you here, switching to the big league club a little bit, because this is a kid that didn't really get the chance to come up through the system, but I know he had to work his way back from a big injury, and he's already coming out in a big way. And we were told by Tanner, who was working out with him in Arizona, like, you guys are going to really like what you see when Garrett Crochet gets back. And I know you sat there and you watched him make his way up. And for those that don't know, Garrett Crochet's already started 2 games in the major leagues. He's got a 1.38 ERA in 13 innings pitched, only allowing 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 homer, with 16 strikeouts for a .69 nice whip. So is this, I guess my question to you is, someone who pays attention to the draft and everything, we always thought he'd be a reliever. Did you think that we were going to get this version of Garrett Crochet as a starter?
No, I did
No.
not.
Okay. I'm glad you said it too, because I didn't either. So I'm glad I'm not alone on that.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed that we were going to be looking at a guy that was going to be in the pen all the time, because I didn't think that the White Sox would make the commitment to allowing him to start. And I mean, I guess if it was going to happen any year, it was going to happen this year, because this team is a tire fire. But I mean, he's looked fantastic, and I just throw this out there. I made a public apology on our podcast / stream to Garrett Crochet, because I mean, he's been ridiculous and he's looked fantastic. And if he can continue to put up innings, I'm here for it. He's looked fantastic.
It was very interesting to watch them, especially against arguably one of the best lineups in baseball in Atlanta. Now, granted, I know it was 30 degrees, folks. You don't have to put it in the. I know it was 30 degrees, but
Oh, look, someone put it was 30 degrees in the comments.
yeah, he pitched with confidence. He didn't look scared at all. He went right at guys like Ronald Acuna and all these guys. He was going right at them. And I did notice, though, and I'm sure you guys did too, in his last inning, as soon as he hit around the 90 pitch mark, all of a sudden that fastball was 92, and it wasn't moving as much. So the stretching out is still taking place, but for him to go that 7 strong against the Braves was pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, it's going to take time. I mean, to expect him to automatically be able to throw 100 pitches and go 7 innings every time, it's going to take time. And I don't know how many times they're going to let him go through in the 5-man rotation before they sit him for a game or 2.
Right.
Just with light work. I don't know.
Fully expecting that to happen sooner rather than later, because they were making a big deal on the pregame show. And if Chuck is talking about it, someone told him to talk about it, but he was saying like, and this is his first time on 4 games rest. We'll see what he did. 4 games rest, 4 game rest, 4 game rest. So I feel like they were emphasizing that to set us up for he's going to skip a turn in the rotation type deal.
Mm-hmm.
But so Ian, we got a couple minutes left, and Drew had a great question here. And this is actually, I was very curious about this, and I wanted to wrap things up with this. How did you get where you are? Why the minor leagues? What drew you to the minor leagues? And, I guess, why do you like doing what you do? Yeah.
So I paid attention to the minor leagues a little bit, not obviously the infrastructure wasn't there to follow the minor leagues as heavily as I do now, years ago. So, I followed it a little bit, line out for Colson to second base. I
Good contact.
followed it, but obviously the streams weren't as readily available. So, but as they started to progress, we went into a rebuild.
Sure.
Or I should say the White Sox went into a rebuild, because I'm not an owner. But
I wish you were, but I wish you were.
I wish I had the cash flow to do that kind of thing. But
Yep.
yeah, so we went into the rebuild, and I just started doing it because I knew that people would want to see it, and nobody put this stuff out anywhere.
Nope.
You know, and it's
Sure
still,
didn't.
you know, it's like you know, Aldo and Fids, you guys, how much Cubs minor league stuff do you guys see on Twitter? Not that much.
Oh, we follow the right guy out there for the Cubs.
I was gonna say, I
Greg's awesome.
There's a Cubs version of you, Ian.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but like
there's
5-6
not
years
much.
ago,
5-6 years ago.
Oh,
no,
not so
man.
much.
Oh yeah, no, 5
know?
or 6 years ago. I do have to say, MLB TV, the blackout stuff is ridiculous, but I absolutely love that you can, if you have MLB TV, you get access to their minor league coverage. And yes, you're not always going to get all the games. Some of the affiliates that we're talking, they don't have cameras, or some do, but they're like overhead behind.
Like
they're
the high school
terrible.
broadcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I do appreciate that
Shan.
it's a lot more accessible than it used to be.
Yeah. So, like the advanced A team for the Orioles used to do a one cam feed that was behind home plate, and they didn't have a play-by-play team. And so you'd watch what would happen, and you'd hear the 25 people that were there go, "Hey, all right," you know. I mean, that was it. But to be fair, I'd prefer that to nothing. But you know, like when the White Sox went to the rebuild, I knew that people wanted to see what Eloy was doing, what Robert was doing, what Moncada was doing, and so I just started clipping it up, you know, and you know, like I would put it up on like in some White Sox Facebook groups and stuff like that, and eventually, I got asked by a few people, for a couple different places to start a website, and so that's how it ended up on Twitter. So here we are.
Well, I think I can speak for a majority of White Sox Twitter when we say thank you, because there still really isn't, besides Future Sox. I mean, all minor league knowledge I get are from videos that you clip and post on Twitter. I mean, I don't see it really anywhere else at all. And it could be because you got that shit on lock and no one's going to do it better. So everyone's just like, hey, Ian's got it. But it's helped me be, I feel like, and I just want to speak for myself, but it helps me be a better fan of this team when you have a good understanding of what's going on in AAA, AA, single A, high A, and you know what could possibly be there. And we're in a time now where fans have access like they've never had before. And it's a really cool thing. I'm sure the owners fucking hate it, but and you're a big part of that. And so again, I just wanted to, on camera, I know I've said it to you in person, but thank you, man, because
I appreciate
it's
it.
awesome. It really is. And just
Yeah,
know your work
I
is
enjoy
appreciated.
doing it, and I'm glad that people enjoy it. I mean, if you know, if nobody was paying attention, you know, I'd still probably watch all the games. I probably just wouldn't spend as much time as I do doing it. But I mean, you know, like, and at the end of the day, like, all you're seeing really is like Sports Center highlights, you know,
Yep.
more or less.
Mhm.
And you know, it's not 100% a true representation of what these players are. You know, even if you don't see highlights of somebody, it doesn't mean that they're not good. It just means that in that particular game, there's not a whole lot going on, or they're just having bad luck. You know.
Right.
So you actually. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What's up?
I was saying you bring up a good point too, because you're it's about like obviously showcasing some of these guys, and for you to, it's one thing to cover a major league team which has roughly 26 guys at one moment that you've got to focus on, and it's not that hard to go through that with a fine tooth comb. But when you're looking at young prospects, there are projectables and so many different variables that come with trying to find players that you want to showcase too. And so that my question to you is, when you're putting together kind of like a game plan, how do you pinpoint where you direct the needle? When you're like, do you wait till you see someone have a blow up game, or are you looking for certain metrics that you're like, okay, I need to kind of keep an eye on this player because this player has like a seed that could grow into something more? You could already see it with some of the the metrics with like their ability and whatnot and their tools. Like, how do you pinpoint that for you? Because it's just with the minor league system, you're dealing with 7-8 giant rosters of kind of unknown teenagers a lot of the time, other than at AAA where they're a little bit more mature. But It's a lot, and some of them look like a toothpick right now, and it's hard to pinpoint. So how do you like?
Yeah, so like with as far as like the ACL goes and the DSL goes, like I generally don't. I try not to comment on those guys too much, because the reason, like the guys that I talk up a lot are guys that I've watched a lot, and where I feel that I can project what somebody's skill set could translate on the next level. Whether it be from single A to double A, like advanced A to double A or double A to triple A. If I'm sitting here saying that, for just like Calvin Harris, a catcher that we drafted last year. If I say that, he looks like a stud, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate to the major leagues. Like Michael Turner was amazing last year. He's OBP and batting average champion in the Southern Atlantic League. He's awesome in advanced A. Now, do I know that that's going to transfer to a major league catcher? He looks like he has a skill set to at least be a backup catcher in Major League Baseball. Now, does that mean he's going to turn into JT Realmuto? Probably not, just because the percentages are against him, but he looks good now. I guess that's like kind of how I I try and I guess regulate my expectations,
which is fair. And
Absolutely.
you're working with a lot of teams and everything. So Ian, thank you so much for coming on here. Please let everyone, especially the people that don't know, because we just kind of gave you the plug to the minor leagues. Ian, let people know where they can see this good work and where they can read your stuff and find your podcast, because Future Sox, ladies and gentlemen, Future Sox has been doing some big things in this offseason. They're ready to go this year. So if you're not following them, you're really missing out. But let them know, Ian.
Yeah, obviously, futuresox.net is the home of Future Sox, at Future Sox on Twitter. We do, me and James do Sunday nights, usually not on Easter week, but usually Sunday nights at 8:00, and it's on YouTube and on Twitch, and then it drops the next morning as a podcast. We have Future Sox Roundup on Mondays. It's not live, so it drops on Tuesday morning as a podcast and a video. And then we got Hot Takes and Heaters on Tuesday nights with Danny and Nick. And I told Nick I would say something about it. Danny had the misfortune of saying that the White Sox could win 74 games this year.
Good
and
Lord.
I have been bringing it up any chance I get. So there it is. But he did have this sweatshirt made. So thank you for that, Danny. Sorry, I have to bring that up. But they're on Tuesdays on YouTube and on Twitch. And obviously, I at Daily White Sox on Twitter. And you can find all the video highlights on our Future Sox Twitter page. And you can follow me for nonsense,
Shenanigans.
Yeah, nonsense thoughts and stuff like that. So I think that's about it. I think I got everything.
Ian, again, we really appreciate you coming on, and we appreciate the work that you do, keeping us all plugged in on the minor leagues. Everyone who's listening, just listen, man. Go follow him on Twitter. By now, you should have at least a burner account. You can follow the man on. If you want to see any of the minor league stuff, it's the one-stop shop. Future Sox put together a great roster going into the season. Nick's one of my he's a good buddy. He's a good guy. I love the show on Tuesdays. But yeah, Future Sox, guys, go follow them. Ian, thank you, man. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Ian.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to here, I'll just do it real quick. The show, again, is brought to you by Uncle Bud's, 9700 South Cicero for you old heads. It's where TCs used to be. Daily specials, daily food specials. There's something going on every night. Trivia, bingo, karaoke. The slot machines are always buzzing. So go check them out. Uncle Bud's, 9700 South Cicero in Oak Lawn. So we're going to bring on our next guest here. But before we do, I want to say a couple reasons why we're bringing on our next guest. And this was, in all fairness, it was your idea, right, Aldo? I think it was Aldo's idea.
I brought it up.
It was Aldo's idea. And I immediately was like, yes, this is a great idea. So The White Sox decided to bring back Mike Clevenger. I'll say his name because no one likes to say his name, but Mike Clevenger, professional scumbag. And it was mind-blowing to me that when people had a negative opinion of this shithead, that this crusade of dudes would just light up the replies with "he was found not guilty" and all this other bullshit. And it didn't really sit right with any of us. And, you know, our next guest has been a very big advocate for women in sports and, you know, a very loud voice, especially in White Sox Twitter, for, you know, women out there doing their thing. And that's something, as I've mentioned on the show a bunch of times, I was raised by all women on the South Side. I'm proud of that shit because they are some of the toughest fucking. I already told Fizz, I'm pretty sure our next guest can beat my ass if she really wanted to. But we wanted to bring her on here because there's no reply section. We're bringing her on to speak freely and from her point of view from this. If you decide to be a turd in the comment section, I'll be in Lot B in like 2 weeks. You can come see me. So, ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, we're going to bring on Miss Missy Carroll, Missy by day, messy by night, victim of TikTok fame. She happens to be the social media analyst for the mothership at Sports Mockery. She also runs the account of Southside Behavior. And when she feels like it, she does a pregame show on Fridays from her bathroom. That's what I'm talking about, people. The lady is hustling. Let's bring her on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Missy Carroll.
Woo!
How you doing,
Yeah,
Missy?
thank you guys. Oh my gosh. Thank you. When you asked me to come on, I was so excited. I was really excited.
Good.
I when you sent that to me, I was just like, I remember screenshotting and saying someone that I talked about it all day to, and I'm like, thank God someone. I felt like I've just been talking to a brick wall on Twitter, and so I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
appreciate it a lot.
Well, Missy, you got opinions, and you're not scared to share them. And it's always something that we appreciate about you. And it was one of the reasons why, you know, Sports Mockery reached out to you to kind of join forces with you and Southside Behavior, which everybody should be following, fuckers.
Packers.
Oh, that's nice. Super chat from HBIC just because. Look at that. So let's talk about it, Missy.
Yes.
Let's talk about this. So the White Sox, again, for some wild reason, decided it was a good idea to bring back Mike Clevenger. Now, he was okay last year. People are like, he was awesome last year. No, he was the smartest dumb kid. Like, he was the tallest little person. Like, it wasn't what you were comparing him to was not good. He was very mid by all measurements in Major League Baseball. But the White Sox, which seems like a panic signing, decided to bring him back and put him in said rotation. We don't know how long it's going to take him to get in shape. We don't know what he's been doing in the offseason. We've heard people like Pedro Grifal say that he was a great locker room presence last year, and he's bringing him back to make that bond bigger, which is wild to me. But also the confusion.
Yes, there's
his
confusion.
video. What?
No, we've been hacked.
You froze a little.
Oh, I froze?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. But what I was saying, I guess to finish
Chuck
it off was
Barfine got the feed frozen.
he got me.
Katherine Hepburn in her first sunrise. Ha!
Uncle Beef said it in his clip about the signing, and I usually me and Beef definitely kind of think on the same wavelength with things, but this one, actually a friend who I didn't even know listened to that, sent it to me like, you know this guy, right? This is really smart what he said. Why the fuck are they bringing back this guy and pissing off more than half of your fan base when you literally have a farm system and your top 25 is probably about 18 pitchers in your farm system? Why are you blocking pitchers with this piece of shit? From a baseball side of things, I just don't understand it. But we're very interested to hear. And Missy, I swear to God, we're all going to go on mute while you're talking, so no one interrupts you. But
Okay.
please speak freely.
Okay.
And I know you'll be honest with it, but as a diehard White Sox fan, as a woman, what does this signing kind of say to you? Like, where are you at with this?
So, it was, I think we weren't even done with what was it, Monday? The game on Monday, I think it was.
I believe it was
And
Monday.
we got it, and I just literally just like kind of just like head down, being like, oh my God. Like it felt like the tipping point of morale. So, like you said, like B-Flow from the 108 did a great job explaining it, especially from the baseball perspective, how it makes no sense. So you didn't even do anything. You just said from a baseball perspective, this absolutely makes no sense. Also, I want to mention Sean Anderson from CHGO and Herb Lawrence. They both were kind of tag teaming it, but Sean Anderson, I don't know if you've seen the clip. He went off. Same thing. It's like, I don't get it. Also, he's a scumbag. What are we doing here? Pretty much. And so, yeah, I think the baseball end of it has been hit really well. And people want to come to me about debating the facts. He's not guilty. I have no interest in running through the case like a lawyer right now, because there is something to be said about at the trade line. No one wanted him being good last year, despite Ryan Guffey saying, hey, he was under the radar. He was on the radar. People needed pitching last year for the deadline. No one took him. He got put on the waivers. No one took him. He
For
was
free.
available all off season. For free, yeah. No one took him.
Free
That
95.
says a lot. That just says a lot about what teams think about this guy. So, just in general, scumbag. But also, if you follow the case, you do see the extent of how bad of a scumbag he's been, and stuff that's been said in court or to the MLB. And I think the one thing that gets cut out of all this is that for so long, people like him, and I guess this is now going to a broader conversation as well, because we have the Bauer conversation too.
Right.
We have all of this Chapman, he got signed to the Pirates, the women in the Pirates organization were mad too. They're like, we don't want him on our team. So it's kind of a thing where a lot of women in baseball are standing up and calling it out, because it's like, we put so much effort into the sport, and you return it by forcing us to make the hard decision on, do we stay and cover a team that we have to root for an abuser or a man who committed violence against a woman, or just like a domestic violence disputes. Like, now you're putting us in that position. And it's just the Bauer talk. It's just, I'm adamant that it's a disgrace and disrespectful to even discuss wanting them on a team. Like, there are so many great guys out there who aren't scumbags that you can sign. The Clevenger signing came out of nowhere. It was just absolutely disrespectful, I felt, to us. Like, you don't think he saw everything we put on Twitter about him last year? He was blocking people on Twitter last year about saying stuff about him. You don't think the White Sox saw people addressing their domestic violence, like awareness contributions to them? They addressed him to the organization. Fans didn't even call him by his name. We call him SB5. That's how bad he's like Voldemort. We don't even say his name because of how bad he is. If you follow me on the offseason, I gave Getz a lot of credit for what he's done. I was a Getz bot for so long. I was like, you know what? I'm going to follow what he's doing. I kind of like his plan, how he's going about everything. Yeah, we're going to suck, blah, blah, blah. And then in the matter of that one tweet, he lost all of my respect for anything he's done. One signing, he's lost all my respect, because I thought he was going about it cleanly, and then he just he made a decision, and that was just, it's just like, signing these guys is like saying, we value the game more than we value your respect, and we're going to put this guy on the team, and you are going to be forced to root for them. People are saying, well, you're rooting for the team. We're not rooting for a logo. We're rooting for every guy on the team. I have to root for him if I'm going to root for the Sox. And it's just a constant like morality value. And I hate that they don't have the guts to address it, like the NBC. They don't have the guts to the the women who participate in conversations about the White Sox and the women who cover the team are honestly some of the most dedicated people I've seen. To be covering the White Sox in general, it's a grueling task. So to be a woman, even especially, it's a lot. And we have a lot of women who do it, and we create so much for the team. And it's disrespectful that what we get in return is we now have to cover this man after a year of saying we've hated this man and we're celebrating left. People say, if we hate it so much, why don't we protest and why don't we leave? I love this team. It's my dream to talk about them forever, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365. But then we leave, and that just leaves the awful men defending this guy to just take over the space. If we leave, women can't be here to be where I'm at right now, calling out these guys, calling out organizations that are just going with this behavior. They're not getting checked. They haven't gotten checked in all of like baseball history. We've signed terrible guys throughout all of history, but now it's you want the women demographic. You want women in baseball. You want us covering your sport. You got to also play by. So you have to give us some respect. And I guess the last kind of part of it I'll say is I shouldn't have to come on the internet and air out my personal life and things I've gone through and trauma and everything. But last year when he got signed, I did. And I didn't have to, but I came out on Twitter and I said, you know why this sucks is because I have been in an abusive relationship. And I don't think a woman in sports should have to come on here and make that point for all of you guys to feel something because you see someone be like, oh, this hits home for her. If you have a wife, a sister, a daughter, aunt, cousin, you may not even know they've gone through anything like this, but if they ever did, would you want their person on a team and have to root for them, have to cover them, have to look at them being successful when they've done so much damage to a human being you love? And so it like, and I'm very open. You guys know that I have my opinions. I'm a very open person, and sometimes I do that to make a point. And I had to do that last year just to get my point across to people because there was kind of like the Bauer, he said, she said, whatever. But no, you don't have to be a victim even to feel how disrespectful it is to platform someone and give them a career when it's not necessary. It was a very deliberate decision, and most of your fan base and a lot of the people covering and giving you free coverage is being affected by it and disrespected. And that's kind of the gist I have with it, is I feel very disrespected.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that. No, we really do appreciate it. And one of the points that you touched on there, and I believe it was Sean Anderson that said it, and he goes, well, why not go sign Trevor Bauer now? Why not? Hey, shit, why don't you go get Luis Arias? I mean, he just beat his wife, but he had a pretty damn good ERA before he did it. Why don't you just start opening the door for that? Where's the cutoff? I mean, some of the allegations, too, if you really dig deep in the covers, like he took his dip out of his mouth and gunned it at his 10-month-old. But hey, he's a hell of a locker room guy. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Fids, I know you as a lifetime baseball, there's always been assholes in baseball.
Plenty.
But we live in an age now where social media is everywhere. People get put on blast all the time. We've never had more access to things than we do now. That used to be completely behind the scenes. And unfortunately, guys like Clevenger have been in baseball since probably the beginning. Like Babe Ruth was an asshole. Ty Cobb was the biggest piece of shit. Biggest piece of shit. And, but like now it's amplified. And again, I don't even know why I feel the need to, but I feel the need to say sorry because you have to sit here and like deal with this shit. And I don't know. It doesn't sit right. And the thing, again, that absolutely blows my mind is when you tweet something out about it, the replies to your tweet are insane. Absolutely madness. Like, I don't know if these guys are trying to date Mike Clevenger or like they just want him to like
no, for real.
Fucking with my shroom dealer, dude. Come on.
Yeah, like I don't get it. Like, do they want him to like pat him on the head and say, like, oh, good boy, you defended me on Twitter to a woman. You're
What
great.
is, and I know it is, I put it a little bit about the Trevor Bauer stuff a little bit ago, because that is the most extreme case of just using him for engagement, baiting the wrong guys. Like, you know, I put something out about him when talking base. I like John Boy. I like what John Boy does.
Yep.
I find their stuff great. But they put out like a bunch of Trevor Bauer stuff when he was going against, I think, the Yankees minor league. And I was like, okay, at some point you have, as an account and now even organization, you have to say, do I want women in baseball to respect me, or do I want to just use this guy to get engagement and, you know, generate clicks? I have a bad taste in my mouth after that watching John Boy, because it's just like, you just clearly use this guy for just bait and everything. And it's like, it's just like, you're not, it's so disrespectful. You're baiting the wrong guys. It's
Right.
grim to say, but a lot of the guys defending these guys that come out of the woodworks are usually red flags, and you should not go near them with a 10-foot pole. That's what I have to say. I'm like, run away. The worst is I'll see like girl dad or like their wife in the picture. I'm like, oh my God, run away. Like, get out of there. I'm like, do they know you're on Twitter? I'm like, this is crazy.
They're wearing the Barstool Sports girl dad hat in their picture.
Oh my God, right? So I just it's just wild. And like I always say, I've been on TikTok like pretty big, and even social media, since 2020. It's about 4 years now. I've heard everything said about me, from looks to how I talk, how I walk, what I do, where I'm from, everything. I've heard it all. So it doesn't bother me whenever anyone says anything, but it more so is the fundamental. Now it's more so just like, are you crazy? Are you, what are you getting out of this? What are you getting out of defending this man?
Yeah, I don't get
There's
it.
no reason
It
at all.
blows my mind. I have
Do
no
you
idea.
want a woman in your life? What if you showed like a girl this on the street? They would walk away from you.
They
But
should be
most of them
forced.
like them.
They should
But
be forced to wear like T-shirts that say "I support Mike Clevenger" when they go out, so people
really,
know.
should be a red flag attached to them.
That's wild shit. Well, I don't know. Thank you again for coming on and speaking like
Yeah,
this.
no, thank you for having me. I felt like I feel like no one gets the opportunity to, honestly, I've never seen a woman come on any platform anywhere and has been able to just freely talk about this, because so many publications and podcasts and media are scared that they're gonna get these crazy Clevenger replies, and then they're, you know, they're afraid they're gonna get canceled or something. But it's also like, you gotta have integrity, man. You gotta have integrity.
I'm fully prepared for any of those guys that jump in our comments or reply to this episode
It's
just to
okay.
write, "He's not going to date you, bro." I'm just going to write that
He's gotta get
over and
through
over
me
and
first.
over
They
and
gotta
over.
get through me first.
Over and
I'll
over
be
and
in there
over and
anyway.
over again. I'll just keep typing. I will cut and paste it for every
Not gonna
reply.
date
I don't understand. Like, I understand, like,
yeah.
okay, if someone from the Braves fan base was like, "Oh, Garrett Crochet wasn't really that good," and I'd be like, "Well, you're wrong, and this is why." You know, like that.
Yeah.
That's a sports conversation. That's an argument.
Yeah.
But these guys in your, I read it all the time, and it was just, I don't.
They just,
it's wild.
It's mind blowing. But at this point, what's crazy is, after the past year of, even after the Clevenger, after I've told everyone everything, it's still to this day an issue. I think we're all numb to it. And I think if you've seen a lot of the women that cover the White Sox on Twitter, just being like, kind of hands up in the air, like, what do we do? Like, what do we do at this point? Because, like I said, we leave, then it just leaves the door open for all these guys to come in and say whatever they want. Leaves baseball unchecked, which that's what's going on right now, is we're in the age of just checking all these guys and being like, yeah, there's been guys like Clevenger the whole time, but also there's been no woman around to tell you that this is wrong. And now there's publications and media outlets and everything that can do that. So it's like, times are changing, and it's just like,
yeah,
MLB, everyone covering it has to just own up to what's going on here. That's, I think, also the biggest thing is no one will talk about it.
And I just kind of imagine like the women that work for like NBC5 and all these people that professionally have to cover the team. Like,
You just have to sit there.
It's going to be awkward.
Yeah.
It's going to be real awkward. Well,
so I feel for them. I feel for a lot of women that are in sports in a different kind of like in a like the normie media, as like Beef will say, because they have to put up with it, and I don't blame them because
speaking of the media, speaking of the man,
no,
the patriarchy. There he is
already.
Fresh haircut.
The big J journalist decided
Big
to drop
J
in.
journalist is here.
That's right. That's right.
Mitch, where are all you journalists not telling the truth about Clevenger?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
What's wrong with you guys?
It's
because you're in Missouri?
Who's not telling the truth about Clevenger?
Everyone.
Oh, I forgot. Mitch works for an ABC affiliate, not NBC. Damn it.
Hey,
he also does like
these
crime
allegations and child abuse allegations.
Mitch is in Missouri. They don't take kindly to people that speak up in Missouri.
Down here, we use the belt.
God damn. We straighten that boy out real quick.
Snap, snap. Listen here, buddy. If you want to hit your wife, you better have it below a 2 ERA. Otherwise, it's not going to fly down here. No.
Listen here, man. If anyone's going to hit my wife's sister, it's going to be me.
I missed. Yeah, see, that's terrible timing. I come in when you guys are talking shit about the media. I miss Ian's segment. It's a disaster.
Your cut looks good, though. Your cut looks good.
It's a little saggy. It was tough because it's so windy down here. My hair would always be askew. No one would pay attention to what I'm saying. Not that they did anyway, but the hair would be flying all over. It was no good. We needed to chop it.
Yeah, you don't want to be on camera with flopping stuff. That's just
it's not.
Are we chasing murderers tonight, Mitch, or are we doing crystal meth?
No, we got a boring one tonight. It's about the Columbia School District. I won't even go into the story. It's boring. You guys
I thought you were going to say Colombians.
Are they selling meth?
They're not selling meth. They're building.
Are you sure?
Storm shelters. I mean,
are you sure they're not selling meth?
I'm
pretty 100% prove they're not selling meth.
That's a good question. I'll ask the school board president.
With all due respect.
Zoe wants to know if you guys are selling meth. Who the hell is Zoe?
Pretty much everyone down there.
Mama!
If you're from middle of nowhere, Missouri, you sell meth.
Yeah, it's
at one point.
It's a good point.
You don't have lemonade stands down there.
Well, it's not really meth now. It's all fentanyl is all the rage. That's really it's opioids and fentanyl.
Fentanyl's the.
You step outside and it looks like everybody's doing calisthenics, but they're just bent over on fentanyl.
At one point in your life, if you live there, you've been involved in a fentanyl drug deal or a meth drug deal.
I have not been a part of a.
You've seen it.
I almost hit a meth head driving home from work one time. Usually in my town of Mobile, because there's quite frankly, there is kind of a drug problem in Randolph County. Yeah,
I knew it. I knew it would come out. I knew we would get it.
Most of the mid-Missouri area, it is kind of an issue. But they usually don't bother you in Moberly unless you bother them. But one time I was driving home from work. It's dark now down near the side alley I live, and one of them just came flying out. You just got to kind of keep it simple.
So I need to share something. Sorry, this is completely off topic to everything, but Missy, after doing such a great job with that, I think we're gonna lighten the mood up a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
This happened tonight at the Cubs game. Good friends of ours at Chicago Sports Bums, they have their bleacher bumps led by Prez. This tweet is going around, ladies and gentlemen. That's Prez right there.
No way.
This was on national TV. This was on national TV.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, how did they get Michael Cera to hang out with them? I mean, you know what?
Holy shit, that does look like Michael Cera.
This could be this guy looks like.
Oh my God.
This dude looks like blank. That is Michael Cera, or it's one of the SARS guards.
Wait, the other guy, that guy behind that has like the bucket hat on the.
Yeah, this kid.
That's behind Michael Cera, right?
Oh jeez.
Oh, why does he look so much like Michael Cera?
Look at the guy next to him too. It looks like my dad. He's got his jacket actually tucked into his jeans and looks like outside of his boxers.
That's such a dad move.
Yeah, that's a dad. I'm not shocked.
That's life experience.
Antenna on it. That he can listen
For
to
those of you that are not in the Chicagoland area, it is currently about 30 degrees outside,
Oh
And
my
these boys are
goodness.
out here dancing in the bleachers doing this.
I like that they're still wearing gloves though. Like of all the things you're worried about,
Oh
the piggies,
yeah, wait.
the little piggies. Yeah, don't worry about the
Also,
nippies.
Sports
my
bumps. Can we get
goodness.
a sports bump fanny pack? My guy's got like 20 things in his fucking pocket.
I like at the bottom left
What
hand
is
corner.
fucking going
Hey,
on
hey,
here?
well,
I
he's
got
not-
some of the piggies and Ivy one.
Everflush down
Yeah,
there.
where are
Where-
you? You're
Wait,
outsourced.
first
We
second,
sell fanny
hold
pack.
on. Hold
Where's
on.
Flush?
This is amazing. I can't stop watching it.
Look at the bottom
I'm
left hand
sorry.
corner. Where did Flush come from?
I think you killed Missy with this clip.
This is
Hold on.
it's mesmerizing.
Left hand corner. Left hand corner.
can't-
Well, I think that's
can't
because
stop.
it's from Marcus on Twitter. That's his
Okay.
That's his,
I
That
got
guy
it.
behind him was
watermark.
looking like, yeah, keep dancing, bitch. I'm seriously gonna beat your ass after the game. That guy behind him looked like he just was like, yeah, this is these
Poor
guys.
Aaron. Bums just brought Aaron on board
Okay.
for their social media team, and she's there at the game with the kid.
I gotta show you guys this. Remember last year during the tourney when
No
we were
way.
collaborating with Mitch and you guys said you'd have my endorsement if I
Mhm.
bought your fanny pack?
Ah,
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
I was
That is
cleaning out
the
my room and I found
This is
Twitting.
it.
fact-
I think it might fit. Oh yay!
You can
It's
fit at
good
least
that
Like,
it's
six beers in
to
here.
bring it to a game though. I have to see.
You can put 6 beers in here. I've tried it. It works.
I gotta see if the size dimension matches or is okay to bring into a game.
I think Mick Ultras and like White
Do
Claws
it.
fit even better because they're thinner.
It's
The
great.
fact that it has
I
our
can do a little
faces on it just
crossback.
kills me too.
Yeah, our face just right on it.
I brought it to the classical opera I went
I
to.
know the funny part is I didn't really know you guys at that point, so I was like, I know that Zoe. Who the hell are these other guys?
It's a backpack for your belly, really.
Hey, you know what? At least we sold more of those than the cattle report shirts. So
Two.
Yeah.
We sold 2.
We still have that design trademarked.
Yeah,
yeah,
trademark.
that's right. Right.
And we got some other Mitch designs. Like we can use this one. I personally like this one. Who's
I
on
like
the
that
pole?
one a lot,
NASCAR
yeah.
Mandate. That'd be a good
On the
shirt.
pole.
one.
Who's on the pole?
Who's
That'd
on-
be a good shirt. Super chat from our guy Baloney of said Chicago Sports Bombs said, I would bet money that Press was a cargo panther. I am 100%. You know how much stuff you can fit in there? But yeah.
Yeah, you guys need
Sorry.
a bit of a.
I just saw that.
coming out.
We had to share. We have the Bums are our guys. Prez is a good dude, but the fact that he's on national TV doing YMCA with no shirt on.
And the
Yeah.
bouncing is what makes it so great. It wasn't just they were doing the hand gestures. They were getting some elevation. They were doing bunny hops, which is just great for gravity and the athleticism that they were showcasing in said tweet.
And I mean, he's kind of like into it, but then he's like looking at his friends doing like the bob, like, what are we doing next, guys? Like, it's like, I don't see leadership qualities in there.
I mean, it kind of looked a little bit like what's it called with Seth Rogen as the cop hanging out with McLovin, maybe a little bit, but just dancing. I don't know those
Oh,
guys.
man. Sorry,
That was
but
beautiful.
Missy gave us some very serious insight, and I had to break the mood there with a
Yeah.
shirtless Prez on a 30-degree night in the Wrigley Field
We need
bleachers.
it. We
But
need it. You always gotta. And I'm good
Missy,
at high ground.
Missy, please know that anytime you want, you let us know. You're more than welcome to come back on the show, as especially now as we are coworkers.
Yes.
We all work for the mothership. So
Woo!
anytime you want. But thank you very much, Missy. We really appreciate it. Will you please let everyone know the 100 different places they can follow you?
All right. So Facebook. Just kidding. So you can find me on Twitter. My main one is Messy Carol, just MESSY Carol. I also do the Southside Behavior brand for Sports Mockery. I live tweet every game. I'll be there 162 days a year. I also have TikTok. It's just Southside Behavior, one word. That's all you have to look up. We're also on Instagram, Southside Behavior. One word you can look up. Pretty much what you'll see on Twitter and Instagram, just combined, or Twitter and TikTok. Personal Instagram, Missy.Carol. That's if you're interested in me personally. Other than that, that's pretty much all where you can find everything.
Yep. But thank you very much, Missy, and we'd love to have you on again during the season. And
Absolutely. I'm always
got-
here.
you got Johnny who wants to go shirtless. I think you're the only guy that people would want to see in that crowd.
Yeah, I
shirtless.
feel like he's the only one that can go shirtless.
What's
Yes.
the difference between him wearing a shirt or just a shirt that he bought at Baby Gap? Like, there's
I
really
know the mediums pop.
Sharp's on in the
Yeah,
101.
Mediums are popping.
Please,
it looks
please
like Batman's suit. It's still, from Batman and Robin, but
Leave my man's alone. He's swole. Just leave the swole man alone.
I mean,
That's
I
best
think
way.
Mitch can recreate this.
I think so.
I
Yeah, that's
think-
kind of a Mitch
mean,
style.
That
Not
dude
drag,
has.
but
That guy
look a
can.
lot- look a lot better than that.
That dude can hold a full beer between his tits and his rib cage holder with the way his stomach caves in right there.
Mitch is, if you think about it, Mitch is kind of like our White Sox Michael Cera in a way.
It could be.
He
Could be.
I'll take it.
I
I've
like
been called
it. We have confirmation. They're regular
Medium.
Regular medium shirts.
Medium.
Oh well, Missy, thank you very much. I did have this
Yeah,
ready to go,
thank you.
but anytime you like, we're gonna hop into some statistics talk now. But
Yeah,
thank you, Missy. We appreciate
thank
it.
you so much. No, thank you for
Thanks,
having
Miss
me.
Abe.
Thanks,
Bye,
Missy.
Bye,
guys.
Missy.
Thank you.
Ladies and
Kick
gentlemen,
rocks, Mitch.
Kick rocks, Mitch. Please do us a big favor and go follow Ian and Missy. They're great people. We were very stoked to have them both on. I think it was a great idea to have the point of view from a woman as a White Sox fan talking about what the Clevenger signing kind of said to them. And I get what she's saying. It is kind of disrespectful to the woman fan base for White Sox. And then again, to have Pedro come out and be like, "Oh, he's a great clubhouse guy," and a real shut the fuck up. Just don't.
I do have a question. I didn't want to. That wasn't the time or the place either. But I
Right.
do.
No, I
always have,
appreciate it. I know.
I have questions too. Like, is there a way that a player that does fuck up can even make amends if it's a mistake? Like when they fuck up like this, or is that the death knell? And that's what I always wonder. Like, is what can a player do to make amends if that's possible, or is it not possible? And that's something that I don't know if there's an answer to, because it really is individual kind of like thinking. But
I think it's difficult. I think there is a way you can. You're not going to win over everyone, but if you're showing an effort to make steps to being a better teammate, person, human being that you respect, woman, then yeah, I think so. I would compare it. I mean, not completely apples to apples, but if I'm going like the NASCAR route here, they have one of the best drivers in the sport, Kyle Larson. He was on a live stream playing video games, said the N-word, lost his sponsorship, was out of the sport.
I remember that.
It was very difficult for him to get back in the sport. It took a lot of him having to go out, do a bunch of these interviews, make the effort to like go to all these social justice things and like show like, look, I'm trying, I'm learning from my mistake. And there's still a lot of the fan base that still doesn't like forgive him for what he did. Now NASCAR's a little bit more lenient with stuff like that, but like it can't happen. And
You mean the guys that fly the Confederate flag in the parking lot aren't that?
they
mad
banned that
about
now. So not like a completely perfect example, but like and I think that's the biggest thing with Clevenger is he never apologized.
Never once.
For
Never
it.
once showed remorse.
Last
Never-
year it was just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to sue people for liable for what happened here. Screw what
Which he
they're
never
saying.
did.
That was So that's where I think with him it like rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Maybe he was a good teammate last year. Well, I mean, we don't know. We weren't in the locker room. Who the fuck knows? But I agree. It is a little. It just showed poor judgment from Getz because like they're not going to win any games. There's no good reason behind that sign. Like they're probably going to lose 90 games with or without him. And like all the moves before that, I could understand what he was doing, like behind his move. Like, he had the benefit of the doubt for the majority of the fan base. It's like, all right, let's give him a chance. And this was the first time I think he made a mistake like the old regime did, where he's not only alienated a bunch of the fan base, but he lost the trust of a lot of the fan base too. And that was one of the things he was talking about on Foul Territory, where he's like, my big goal this season is to earn the trust of the fan base back. And in one move, he's fucked that all up.
It's very tone deaf when you again. This is the White Sox organization in a nutshell. Though they have, I don't know what it is about them hiring people in an optics department, because like there are organizations that like finely craft every piece of image down to like who players can be associated with off the field, restaurants they go to. And it seems like the White Sox organization, time and time again, don't have anybody back saying, hey, you think that's a really good, think that's a good idea? And there's nobody there to like maybe reel someone back. I feel like maybe because it's the mom and pop kind of stuff that we talk about, Reinsdorf always kind of like how it just operates, that there's no PR, like Missy said in the comments. Like it's so strange to me. Like strip clubs are more cognizant of their optics than the Chicago White Sox are, and it's just strange to me that there's nobody there to pull these guys back from the leg and just say,
to be clear.
"Hey,
the timing is odd. Yeah, and the timing's really odd too. And not to excuse any of like the stuff that he did, because that's obviously always going to be an issue. But if you're trying to defend it from a baseball perspective from the White Sox, hey, we need a guy that can eat innings. Why the hell didn't you sign him during the offseason then when he was available? Like, why 4 games in? It makes no sense, the timing of it, why they added him, for the direction of this team. And like all the other guy was saying too, for like a lot of the moves Getz made this offseason, when he added a veteran or some guy like a Paul DeYoung, it was to be a bridge guy or someone they thought was going to be like help turn the culture around. They're playing better defense. Well, Clevenger's the opposite, because he's not helping any prospects. Like, there's no bridge in the starting rotation. If anything, he's blocking Nick Nastrini to come up and get some reps, because now they have another veteran that they didn't really need. So that's my take on it.
Going back to Kevin's question, like what, like with these kids with Clevenger, and then Miss was talking about Bauer too. Obviously, is the big name, but like she said in the comment, Mitch mentioned, Zoe said it. It's like it's pretty like number one, show that you're remorseful. All these guys just on
one time, dude.
Quick
Just
defensive. Number
one
two, it's not a one-time thing. Like with Clevenger, there's like
that's a good point right there.
multiple reports, incidents
with Bauer.
partners.
Yep.
Trevor Bauer has like 4 or 5 allegations all at once at him. Like that's it. That's the thing. It's not like a one-time thing.
Nope.
And also,
It makes me think too think about Chicago Godfather Tony Accardo. He was in charge of the Chicago outfit for decades. Guess what? He never did. Spent a single night in jail. Now, does that mean that he was innocent and then he didn't do it?
that is a good point, because I don't know if Missy brought this up or not too, but you have a lot of people that defend him, and I am all for giving guys
talked about that.
second chances. But he wasn't found innocent. They just chose not to punish him. It was the stipulation that he was going to go to therapy, which is really all of his wife, like the mother of the child wanted, was like, hey, we want this guy to get help so it can be.
God damn it, Cubs.
So it wasn't even that he was found necessarily like innocent. It was, hey,
This is the
we're not
Zoe jinx for betting on him.
going to therapy.
They're gonna win by 1.
Mitch,
Here's my
Mitch, I emptied my account betting on the Cubs -1.5. And they
Was
were
that was that Nico?
Yeah, he tried to glove flip it instead of just eating it. He should have eaten it.
Wait, what's the score right now? Weren't they up like
8-7?
Like 8-7.
Honestly, he should have pumped. He should have pump faked and then wheeled. But instead, he tried the glove thing. He didn't have him. There's no chance.
Can I get a
Do a
bullshit
little
home
pump
run
fake,
in the
wheel,
ninth?
and look behind you, see if you can backpick the guy third. Like it's the only thing you can do there.
No, you just, the Cubs can score
Trying
again
to
in
do
the
too
8th.
much.
Yes, they can.
The only thing the funny thing I was gonna say about this stuff is that, and we've talked here before with other guys, because again, like in sports, there's always bad guys, and we talked about that a little bit. But I think our default reaction in the past has always been like, oh, like obviously it's shitty, but we know that a team is gonna give guys second, third chances because they're talented and I think that they're gonna bring value because they want to win, right? Like those are kind of default. It's shitty. What are you going to do? Teams are going to do it. And I think it's a great thing that more women do feel comfortable speaking up.
Yes.
Because I don't think it's a bad thing that, hey, how about as a society, maybe we don't give those guys, people in general, second chances, third chances when they're assholes. I don't think that's not bad. Like maybe they don't deserve that second chance, third chance, fourth chance. That's not a bad thing. Like, so the more this happens, right, with Bauer, and with Bauer, that's the big thing because, like, oh, Cy Young pitcher, oh, he was the case was thrown out. He's willing to sign for the minimum.
No one signed.
We've said it for all winter. There's a reason. All 30 teams are like, no fucking thanks.
Guy said he
the same
signed
thing
for
with
the
Clevenger. 30 teams went through the entire offseason. They could have had this dude for like what, $3 million?
Oh, motherfucker!
Oh, jeez.
They just
oh god,
8-2 lead is now a tie ball game.
Terrible.
You're gonna lose your bet. I think it's better if they just it'd be worse. I think if the Cubs just won by 1.
They're gonna win like 9-8.
Hey, but at least there's only 2 unearned runs.
Hey, there's still plenty of time. You can still win that bet.
But it's like,
It's
yeah, like, hey,
it's still good.
maybe
Catches that. Cody catches that, by the way. That's
if we're
tough.
progressing to the part where these guys continue to be terrible people, and you don't, and the default isn't like, oh, well, I mean, a team is going to give them a chance anyway. I mean, it's going to happen. Sucks, but what can you do? Well, maybe we get more people speaking out, and those guys don't, which is
Right.
I don't think it's a bad thing. And I don't know why people get so worked up being like, who cares? Like, the guys deserve a second chance. Like, well, think about it in your own life. That would probably be a really shitty situation, as Missy was saying.
Sports is one of the only, like, all sports across the board where you could, like, if you are good at your job, like, you'll be excused for a lot of shit off the field. Like, look at Antonio Brown, for example. A lot of stuff the reason he kept getting jobs is because he was good at catching a football. It got until the point where, like, if the production starts dropping, then they're not willing to put up with any of that, like, nonsense off the side. So the fact that none of these teams, even after he had such a good season, wanted to touch him, like, it tells you all you need to know. But
I'm sorry.
Now we're all just we're
I'm broken right now. I'm a little
See,
broken.
Kevin, we need Zoe betting on the Cubs more often so that he also feels the hurt.
I am feeling said hurt right now.
I can't believe diehard Reds fan is on the Cubs tonight.
I like money more than any team in baseball.
You knew the Rockies were going to come on. This is their weather. This is Denver. This is Rocky weather.
Oh, we missed the super chat that had a question here. Our boy, Dougie Fresh, who somehow got fucking passes to the Masters, which, oh man, am I salty. That's awesome for you, though, Dougie. Said, random question. Heard campfire milkshakes are upping the bathroom wait times at the park. Any truth or care to comment on people's dairy issues? These goddamn milkshakes are getting more pub than any player on the White Sox, which there's not really much to talk about, but it's absolutely wild to me how much they're advertising these campfire milkshakes, which look,
it's working though. When I come up for a game,
phenomenal.
I'm gonna get a damn milkshake. Like, I have to. Like,
And you're gonna. I can't imagine. I'm not even so much concerned with guaranteed rate field. I'm more worried about like places like Turtles for the after party, when everybody has their shake and then they're mixing it with whatever the hell they're throwing down there. You do a shot of Malort mixed with that shake. Next thing you know, you got pea butt and the dishwasher's spitting out dirty dishwater. So
I mean, the bathroom at Cork is not equipped for people to take dumps. You can't dump it. And people do have dairy issues,
shit
man.
in the streets, man.
Especially, like I said, I made a joke tweet about it. Like, this is gonna taste great after 10 Busch Lights. Like, that's gonna be brutal, man. People are gonna have a rough go at it with that. I mean, it looks good. It looks awesome. Like, I want to try it, but like, whew.
I don't buy alcoholic. Like, I can't do alcoholic shakes at all. Like, I don't get that trend much because I just feel like you're combining two things that are. It's like, can I just play with this TNT and this lighter for a few minutes and see what happens? Like, you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that's brutal. But
that's the espresso martini.
I'm gonna try. Like, I think when I bring Little Zoe to his first game, we're gonna go grab a milkshake. Because
well, your milkshake brings all the prize to the bar.
No, this milkshake brings all the fucking Rockies runs and late.
Oh my god! Look at this cell phone too. Is it that looks like a bum's sticker?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Get homie a fanny pack, man.
Yeah, look at that. You could see the bum's logo partially obscured.
You can buy one of the pinwheels. There we go. That's will boost sales.
All right, gentlemen, we got some time here. Let's talk baseball. Let's do some overreactions. Let's talk about what's going on early in the season because there has been some talking points, and I feel like we've been talking a lot of White Sox. So let's start on the Cubs side of things. And I want to get you two started.
Mitch is here. Mitch, how much time do you have?
I got about 15 minutes.
All right. Well, then I'll start with you.
We can start with the Cubs. We can talk a little.
Well, the first thing. Well, I know this is going to send Fids off in a tangent, but how concerned are you early on about your defense at third base?
It's bad, Zoe.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
It's three errors in four starts
in 7 chances. 3 errors and 7 chances.
Well, it's terrible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Nicky Two Strikes ain't looking too bad now, is he? Huh?
You're right, Mitch. Hey, sometimes negative reinforcement works. You gotta get beat on guys to
Mhm.
get
I
them.
saw Madrigal getting some timely RBIs too.
I say though, Nico has 2 errors already too.
And I mean, no, that first series in Texas, Dansby Swanson looked bad. Morel looked bad. The first game, Nick Madrigal missed the ball too. That led to a run. Seiya Suzuki dropped the ball, and it was like the Braves play in September last year. It's like, holy shit! What the Cubs are playing the same shitty defense that they did in September. It's happening all over again. Yeah, Nico, he's looked off. I don't know what the hell is happening.
But he has, Christian Morel at third base has 3 errors and 7 chances so far in 2024. When we knew it was going to be a question mark in the first place, it was a spring training that he was supposed to work on, continue to get better. It's not going to be decided until after spring training. Oh, he was going to go to winter ball and he was going to work on his game there. And what happened in winter ball sure doesn't indicate that he went there to work on it, that he might have had a good time down there, but it doesn't sure look like. I mean, we have 2 choices especially with Chris Morel. He's either a fantastic athlete that's not putting in the time to get better and do the little things besides just being a hitter, or he's not a very good athlete, and this is Christopher Morel who he is. Now, if you've watched Christopher Morel play, it's A. He's not a bad athlete. He's a freak show. So I refuse to believe that an athlete as gifted as him can't figure it out faster than what's been basically now 2 years or 2 years plus at this point.
So how do you fix it? How do you fix it?
Throw him in the DH spot. I mean, he's a DH. I mean, I don't know where you can hide him. You don't want to hide it. You shouldn't be having to hide anybody at the goddamn major league level. That's just not how it works. I mean,
this happens for him though too. Let's not lie. I mean, the White Sox were hiding Andrew Vaughn in the outfield for 2 years.
Yep.
How'd that go?
But terrible.
Not great, Bob.
He didn't hide him. They couldn't hide him. That's the thing. They didn't hide him. That's because he's still. It is, and I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater yet. He is a freak athlete, but
it's bad.
I expect opening day for you to be laser sharp from that moment on. That's what you've been building for all offseason. If you're not laser sharp on day one when the season starts, then fuck you a little bit on that. Pardon my language. But that's
counterpoint. Now, 2018, White Sox had a second baseman named Yolmer Sanchez. His first series, dropped the pop up, booted a ground ball. He looked awful. Guess who won the Gold Glove that year? Yolmer Sanchez. So
didn't hit the ball at all.
Cubs threat.
Cubs threat. I'm just saying, it's very easy to overreact. Closer attention.
Cubs are going to win by 1. So I was going to
that ball hard. 105.5 exit. Nice.
So
you give Morel a little bit of and I understand we're being concerned, but I'd be willing to give him a little bit more.
How many games can you lose? This game should be 8-6 right now.
Yep.
I want to ask you guys this: there's the throwing error in Texas, and it was again bad footwork. The throwing error charge again from third base Wednesday night against the Rockies. He's just it happened in spring training once. It's happened twice. They didn't charge it on Saturday in Texas.
Missed the line drive too.
He's whiffed on line drives where it's not like he has to range far either way. They're either just half a step or a step at most to his. I think it was to his right. And he's just whiffing on these.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that what is that? Why?
Yeah.
That's the concerning part. Is that the yips? Is that
it kind of feels like the yips. From
it's
what you guys
between the ears. It's a muscle between the ears. And that's why I'm saying it's not time to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Is that he's such a freak athlete that if the light can turn on, I'm just concerned that the switch is broken. But if the light switch turns on and he can play average defense, then who gives a shit? But you can't be
from what you guys have described in the chat, what I've seen, the statistics show, all this, it sounds like the yips, man. If he can't catch line drives at his face.
The line drive, that's the weird part. Because the other stuff, it's explainable, right? We know why it's happening. It's bad footwork.
Some of those throws
Your
are
throw just went out of note.
Yeah, his throw tonight against the Rockies.
It makes Sean Dunston look Dunston look like Greg Maddux sometimes. Seriously.
Line drives right at him goes off they tip off his glove. It's what? How are you missing these?
We got in-play runs. I'm watching the game cast.
Safe.
There you go.
That's the right play. Just bad throw, bad speed.
Oh, you got this. The Cubs are about to score 3.
This is going to be this is where the Rockies let up, and here comes a double. The Cubs
closer
6 or 7.
Edward Ellsbury.
Is he any good?
He
He's
blew the
pretty
first game, but he's been selling.
fine.
He saved like 25
All right,
games.
hold on. I got to get to Mitch before he leaves because
Yes.
I'm going to segue
Oh,
the
here.
shit out of this.
I'm about to set off.
Oh,
some
catcher
Garrett
tried to
Crochet
tag
talk.
before the ball. He tried to tag before the ball got there, bro. You
So
gotta
we're
catch
all
it.
excited because Garrett Crochet has looked awesome, and no one expected that he was going to have 13
Like,
innings
awesome.
for his first
Like,
two starts. I was listening to
awesome.
Beef Loaf on
Agreed.
Monday. Shout out to the Aju. I wasn't even thinking about this at all because I was so locked in into like, oh, how is he going to look as a starting pitcher, right?
Yep.
Beef Loaf just like casually threw it out. It's like, oh yeah, like they're going to trade him, and I'm like, no, like wait, what? No, but then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, he is going to be a free
That's a
agent
big.
in 3
That's
years.
a big.
Like
that's a big
the
haul.
clock is ticking
That's a
now.
big
It's only
haul.
4.5 years.
That's a big haul. You get a bit if he keeps.
Are you
this
guys
up,
trading him in July to the Reds?
I wouldn't doubt it.
I
I-
they
like, that
were
wasn't
pretty
even the
high
top
on
five
him though because he had garnered some trade interest earlier, and he was one of the guys they were like, no, he's not going anywhere, even when he was dealing with some of the injury stuff. From what I
That's
heard,
true.
so
That's true.
I'm not so sure about that yet. Unlike Cease, he doesn't have that large sample size, so I could see him as someone that they want to hang on to for a little bit longer. I mean,
Ellie's due here, Aldo.
I hope so.
Sorry, just before it happens.
But at the same time, would it surprise you if they did trade him?
No.
no, I could see where they'd be coming from.
No.
I
no.
wouldn't agree with it, but
Because what if they're like, hey guys, he has been a starter like since like, you know, and even in college, he was throwing 3-4 innings at the most. It's like, his stock is never going to be much higher. Let's sell now. I could like, man.
Shortened up.
I
the
think
season.
there's so
That would
much
be
potential
deflating them.
there, though. Like, he's got from what he's done in those first
Nicky
two
two
starts-
strikes. Give me some money, baby. Give me some Nicky two strikes money. Come on, baby. Come on. Let's go, little man. No, that was my little dog yapping. Oh, later, Fitz.
What he's done in those first two starts, though, have been really impressive to me. Because even if you look at the guys that have been, like, let's take a look at some of like the top prospects that get called up like early. Kopech had this problem. Cease had this problem. Control was always an issue. And Cease, who had probably the best stuff that we've seen in this organization the last like 5-6 years or so, even when he got ahead in the count, he would always nibble. And like he was not confident. Crochet has that mentality when he takes the mound. It's like, hey, fuck you. I know my fastball's good. I'm going to throw it right at you. He's always out of the 21 batters he faced last night, 18 first pitch strikes. Like that first at bat just set the tone against Acuna. You got the reigning NL MVP coming in there, a lineup with 7 All-Stars, and he throws them 4 fastballs right out of the gate and then makes them look stupid on a slider. I've been so impressed with his efficiency, and a lot of that is because he has that mentality and the confidence where like I'm willing to throw, you know, whatever. Like I know my
terrible
stuff's
news,
good. I'm willing to put it in the zone.
Bad base running. On first contact on a ball right at the gap, right at the.
Nick Madrigal did a Nick Madrigal. Hit the ball 2 miles per
You
hour.
stupid motherfuckers.
I would rather have guys on second, third, and 2 outs than guys on first and second, 2 outs. And that's
Mitch, before you go,
what does that read, Hap? That's terrible.
before you go, Mitch,
God damn
we
it.
saw in the White Sox game
Bad.
on Tuesday, it kind of was made very clear that Pedro wants Kopech to be the guy at the end of the game. Because he even said after the game, he's like, I wasn't going to take him out. I had no intention of taking. I gave him the ball. He got a 5-out save against arguably the best lineup in baseball. It wasn't a cruise. It was a little shaky, but Michael was rearing back, throwing 98, 99, going at batters, but the control was a little worried. But Mitch, my question to you is, Michael Kopech the closer for the Sox this year?
I mean, why not? Now that could have gone very badly. Like Kopech,
Very badly.
when it unravels fast with him. And I think he's another guy like lacks little confidence. Like you can tell when he's feeling himself on the mound. And if he did blow that save, I could see this experiment going haywire very quickly. So I was very glad that he was able to work his way out of that jam. I think that outing kind of shows why the Sox don't trust him to be a starter, because he needed nearly 40 pitches to get through these 2 innings. But because he's a reliever, now he can just kind of reach back and just try and, you know, chuck it 100 miles an hour, which is nice. Now he's going to have to get to be a closer in this league. You need a better more of a secondary pitch. You cannot be relying on all fastballs all the time, as good as his fastball is. And I'm fine with him throwing predominantly fastballs, but he's got to have a little bit more. He did not throw that curveball much, or so like
Nope.
he got to have that off speed that you trust to throw to put away a guy. And he clearly didn't have that yesterday. But I like what Pedro said. He's trying to give him some confidence. We're going to put him in a high leverage situation. They did just that.
So props to Pedro for literally dancing with the devil. Because like you said, that could have went sideways fast and Kopech could just have been destroyed mentally. But he kept him out there. Maldonado did a couple mound visits. Pedro did a mound visit. And he got through it. And I think this is going to be, if he has a good season as a closer, this is the moment we look back at where Pedro's like, you're my fucking guy. Get this done. I'm not taking you out. And he did it.
Yep.
To me, that's a wild risk. The 5th game of the season that you're 0-4 and you need a win. But he did it. And I don't know if you guys watched the post game. Kopech was talking like he was on cloud 9. Like he felt like the love was felt, the confidence in him was felt, and he sounded like a guy that, even though he's inexperienced, is ready to take that ball in that situation again.
He's got that look too. He's jacked. He's got the tattoos. He throws 100. Like he looks.
You see the new
like
tattoo on his back? He's on the back of his neck. He's got that big ass cross now on the tattooed on the back of his neck.
Intimidating presence on the mound. Like if he can just put it together. And you know what? I will give him a lot of credit, because even when he came in that 8th inning, that wasn't an easy situation either. Brebiak just got hosed on him what should have been a double play because he threw a strike. Yep. That was strike 3. Yep. He got the out at second. Well, that didn't work. Emotions are high. Get us out of this jam, Kopech. And a game they needed to win, like you said. And I also think Maldonado deserves a little bit of credit too. And this is why they added him. Now the defense has been terrible. He's looked like a stooge behind the plate, especially like
he dropped
that pop fly. Then he dropped the 3rd strike. He's like scampering after it. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is not good. But you can see he does call a good game. The home run that he gave up, that Kopech gave up, is because he shook off Maldonado. Like Maldonado knew, don't throw Ozuna another fastball here. He came out, calmed him down. He helped Crochet kind of work out of that 1 inning too. So I think he does deserve a little bit of credit for the ability to handle this pitching staff and kind of work through him from some stuff, because he's seen so much stuff in his career. So I think that's where that signing is going to pay off, besides the fact that he can't catch the ball or hit.
Yep. I'm 100% in on Michael Kopech, the closer. I feel like he's just enough. He's just psycho enough where he could be a closer. Like go ahead, Fitz.
I was gonna say the key's just building that fighter pilot mentality. You need to have the guy that actually functions, though. He can be all of those crazy fucking things, but deep down, all of these elite closers, they can look like chaos from the outside, but everything is serene internally because they're doing their job. And that's the difference between a sideshow act and like someone who genuinely is like a dude, you know what I mean? Yep. And that's a big thing. And it's hard to do that in low leverage situations, but it also is when you put them in tough spots and they get out of it, that grows and grows and grows. And, you kind of got to hope for a couple of good outings in a row. And then once that starts building though, then it's a winning mentality. And that's what you need out of a closer. And it's, if you see that in them, you just got to harness the hurricane a little bit. And that's what these guys do. That's what makes a great closer. It's what they're calm on the eye of the storm, but the storm around it looks terrifying to everybody outside of the eye of the storm.
Really quick before sorry.
Go ahead. Go. No,
really quick.
You gotta go. Yeah.
Before I leave, I must say, even though it was against the White Sox, it did make me smile to see Raylo look like a legitimate starter on the mound, being a 5th starter guy. I'm rooting for him this season, so I was happy to see him have a good outing.
Did you watch the Chicago broadcast of that game?
KB just doubled.
That was hilarious when they put the side-by-side pictures of Raylo and Kopech to show like their games, and the new guy was like, and look at Raylo smiling in his team picture, and Steve Stone under his breath on the mic goes, yeah, because look at the hat he's wearing. It was awesome. I was laughing. I was by myself watching the game. I started laughing my ass off because he definitely did it. Like, yeah, look at the hat he's wearing. Like, you got off this fucking shithole team. But I was gonna say, you want your closers, and go ahead, Mitch. Sorry, bud. Ask me if they're selling meth. I feel like closers and goalies are the same way. You want a little bit of crazy. You want a little bit of FU mentality. And I feel like Kopech has that.
Did
Guys, a
Madrigal's glove break?
Yeah, broke. And Magical just saved a
what is
double. I mean, if he
going
doesn't
on in
knock
this
that ball
game?
down, KB's doubled, a leadoff double. But instead, he knocked that ball down just enough that KB had to hold up at first. That's a big job knocking that ball down because that ball's pissed on.
So the Knights game that Ian was talking about finished in a 26-11 score.
Okay.
26-11. That Kershad guy,
Yeah, from the
he had like 4 home runs.
damn.
Oh no, he had 5 hits, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. Some dude named Kyle Stowers had 4 hits, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Jackson Holiday had 4 hits with 2 walks. Kobe Mayo had 5 hits. Like
Decent
20
decent night there.
26 runs on 29 hits.
Mm.
Good Lord. For what it's worth, the Knights had 11 runs on 12 hits. Ian wasn't kidding. You put that ball in the air and it just goes over the fence.
Yeah.
But
No,
what's another,
AAA baseball is just
it's
ridiculous.
Oh. Well, I mean, look at Matt Mervis. Mervis was like Babe Ruth down there, and they got up to the show, and he hasn't done shit. Like these guys hitting up 45 home runs, and they can't even hit. Leave the yard.
what's give me another Cubs overreaction that you guys have after the first couple games.
A bad one or a good? Let's go with a good one. Say Suzuki is going to be awesome. Like,
Hell of a start of the season. Hell of a start.
Hit another homer tonight. So
he hasn't stopped hitting since I think when you go back to the date, it's August 9th of last year. He's just been on fire ever since.
You love to see it. I like that guy. He seems cool. I like that guy.
He's settled in. He's fully healthy from day one. He's just crushing the ball. I think that on Tuesday night he hit that home run, hardest hit ball of his career, 150 miles per hour. And I think up to that point he hit like 17 of 21 balls were 95 miles per hour or above. He's just on everything right now. It's awesome. The Cubs lineup could be really good. Like I know they're playing the Rockies. Rockies are a shitty team, so I'm not saying this for the entire offense, but like Seiya Suzuki, yeah, I'll believe in that because he's been doing it since last year. Mm-hmm. But the Cubs have a chance here with Happ on base machine at 1, Seiya Suzuki doing his thing at 3, Cody Bellinger at 3, then Morel cleaning up. That 1 through 4 could be really, really good.
Can I overreact about Garrett Cooper too? Super duper! My God, this dude is I didn't realize he had this prodigious power the other way.
Yes.
He has hit some bombs the other way.
Told you guys when you signed him, he was going to be good. You guys were going to like him.
I mean, I was super
That's
stoked.
Not true. What are you talking about?
We were fucking stoked.
I did. I didn't.
But
I'm just saying. I said.
Hold on. You didn't.
He's good. He's good in MLB The Show. He's good in MLB The Show, and I was like, he's going to be good for you guys there.
Yeah.
I said it was a great underrated move from Dead
When he rakes lefties, and he's hitting righties though too. That's the thing. Yesterday's homer was off a righty, but he's a good defensive first baseman. And I'm like him and Bush. Bush's got 3 hits tonight. So the platoon at first base for the Cubs looks good. If just Christopher Morel could not have to DH, you could have Cooper and Bush in the lineup at the same time. The only other solution, at least temporarily, would be to throw Bush at third, who did play third a little bit, and put Morel
worse defensively than Morel.
You really can't at this point.
I think that's why they moved him out of third.
I mean, it's theoretical. I mean, he could go. He can make 4 errors in his first 7 instead of 3.
No, I think that was a reason though that he was moved off third base.
Morel's just been brutal, man. I feel like every Cubs game you guys get in the chat just.
No, he's been bad every Cubs. He's been bad every.
And he's had a couple that they didn't call an error that should have been picked. Like
that was the Saturday game. The Saturday game was the first whiff, and it's like, dude, come on.
And it only just makes it worse because, of course, everyone. I mean, I overreacted as I would, but
and in terms of
I have a low tolerance for bad defense. Like for me, that's like one of my pet peeves. Low tolerance.
I think the Morel thing, like I think it's going to be a month, right? Like they're going to give him.
Yeah, April's going to bring showers.
Like I don't think they expected it to be this. Like the first week, you can't make 3 errors in 1 week like that. I don't think they were expecting that.
Oh, they got the double flip.
Cubs win by 1.
Fucking douchebags.
Sick.
If Christopher Morel doesn't make the error earlier, though, we win our bet.
Oh, you can't say that. I mean, Nico Horner doesn't throw the ball away.
True, but Morel too.
Well,
God
Nico
damn it.
did it. Come on, you can't.
Release
You got to
it.
equal blame here.
I am so cold betting right now. It's not
I
even
bet the
funny.
Cubs. I bet the Cubs the first 2 games in Texas they lost. I haven't bet on them since, so I think I'm off betting on my Cubs this year.
That's like my first loss in a bit. I've been kind of hot.
That's
lately.
right, Kevin. Kevin's like a sharp now.
I don't know what's going on right
On
now.
accident too. That NC State bet.
Oh my god, this is like the hottest like little stretch of my betting career, like a career, whatever you want to call it, betting life, whatever it would be called. It's insane right now. Like I keep clearing out the account, and I'll make one more fuck it bet with like a little bit left in the account after I clear it out, and then that'll hit. But now tonight, this one was a fuck it bet and it didn't win. So,
And then actually, pitching overreaction, which I think is another. Let's go positive. There's not a lot of like bad stuff happening right now. The Morel defense, man, it's rough.
Yep.
Let's go positive here. Javier Assad.
ooh,
My
Yes.
motherfucking guy. Like this,
Yep.
The Cubs lost Justin Steele on opening night, and like he's gonna miss April. That's horrible. Javier Assad, who's already filling in for another injured pitcher. The Cubs are down 2 of their starting pitchers.
yeah,
Javier Assad is just, again, I know it's the Rockies. Rockies saw a cold night at Wrigley. Okay. He's been doing this since last year. He's been doing this since he was called up in 2022. He doesn't have crazy stuff. He doesn't throw 99. He doesn't have like a wicked curveball. He doesn't strike out. Like, he doesn't have a high strikeout rate, but he pounds the zone. Guys don't really hit the ball that hard. And when they do, I mean, he does get some luck. Yeah, I'll give him that. But hey, it's better to be lucky than to be. It's better. I'd rather be lucky than good, right? But he's been both. He's been good and lucky at times. I'll take it. This guy's been. He has a sub-3 ERA for 150 innings in the big leagues. And the Cubs are going to need it because again, they lost Justin Steele. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt.
but
Great.
You can get
that
away with
round
it against the Rockies. You can't do it against the Dodgers, Diamondbacks. This schedule upcoming is.
So think about this for the Cubs. They get to start out with the defending World Series champion. Then they come home and they host arguably the worst team in baseball. And then they got to play host to the team that is considered talent-wise the best team in baseball. Like, talk about going a roller coaster of like, ooh, up and down. Like, that's a test and then like a get right series and then a test again. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Cubs come out and win game 1 of the series, kind of hit the Dodgers in the mouth. Now it's my birthday weekend, so I believe that they should just allow the Cubs to sweep because fuck the Dodgers, and I don't want to hear it from Dodger fans out here around the West Coast. So, but I think the Cubs are going to sneak up and hit them in the mouth in game 1 and actually sneak in and take at least that first game, and then we'll see where it goes. Maybe a slugfest. Who knows?
So my next White Sox overreaction is contract year yo is a real thing. Contract year yo is a real thing. He's not like going crazy, but he definitely has the highest batting average on this shit team right now. He's batting 263, but he's had hits in almost every game this season, and he's wearing the ninja mask and everything. But the only game he did not have a hit in was the opener against Detroit. But then he had 2 hit, 1 hit, 2 hits, 1 hit. Yeah, I mean he's hitting the ball. It seems like he's hitting the ball hard. He is looking more for just putting balls in play. You know what I mean? Like he's not trying to kill it on every swing. The eyes been. I mean, he's only had 2 walks, but and he's struck it out. What's that count? 6 times in 5 games. But the defense has always been there. The defense is there, and if he can continue to hit at this clip, I feel like he might have some value around the All-Star break. Just because he's in a contract year.
Yeah,
Switch hitting third baseman who can play good defense that can hit a little bit.
I think he has to get back to 2021 numbers because
which he's kind of pacing
a lot of
for.
money.
He's pacing towards that, but he needs a little pop. But he was playing in Chicago in 30-degree weather, so I get it. I mean, Luis Robert and apparently the Dong are the only 2 that.
Oh, I can't
got out
believe.
there.
I mean, we've gone this long, but I hate to say it. We talked about it during spring, like at the end of spring training, right before opening day. Eloy Jimenez just can't stay healthy. I don't know. Like, what do you do? How do you even feel as though?
It's just
It's sad. I don't even know, like, what.
it's brutal,
Damn.
man. I mean, first of all, he wasn't. I mean, he had a massive spring. He was killing the ball in spring training, and then he disappeared. I don't even know if he played in the Detroit series. He was fucking awful. Situational hitting went out the window. He was in a spot in the lineup where he had opportunities to drive in runs, where runs were very scarce for this team in the Detroit series, and not great. And then he gets hurt running to first, which is like the 5th time this has happened to him, running to first base. And they refuse to put him on the IL. So the White Sox are literally playing a man down because they think he can come back for the Kansas City series. I don't know if he just needs a little bit of a timeout, needs to figure some shit out, like what's going on. But it's just brutal, man. And I do want to say it was on Chuck Garfine's show, the White Sox Talk podcast.
Yeah.
Hold on. What's his name? I want to make sure.
Ryan McGuffey?
Ryan McGuffey said that, quote, he is one of the biggest disappointments in Chicago sports history, is what he said about Eloy. Now, if you would have said White Sox history or even Chicago baseball history, you can make a valid point. But Chicago sports history is filled with so many other bigger disappointments than Eloy Jimenez. I mean, you could just start at Bears quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, Zoe, you can stay in the same sport. You can stay in the same trade. Full count, Tommy.
Right.
He brought it up. Jose Quintana was the biggest disappointment in that trade.
Yep.
Like he was more disappointed than Eloy. Eloy was like amazing in 2019. His 2020 season was great. 2020. I mean, obviously the injuries have followed.
Yeah, this break. Yeah, Drew just put it in the chat. The Oakland A's and the Sacramento are finalizing an agreement to play there for the next season or so. The Oakland Athletics, or excuse me, the city of Oakland sucks. This is petty too, and this is why the people that are in Oakland should be pissed off at their city council, who's done this shit the entire time, all the time. This is why the Oakland Athletics are no longer also not just ownership, but they were going to ask. It's $1.5 million a year their lease at the Coliseum. For the 4-year with a 5th-year option, they wanted $100 million to play in that shithole in Oakland. That's what they asked for. So instead of getting to say goodbye, the Athletics are dipping out. That's some petty shit right there. That's going to also cost Athletics fans the opportunity of seeing them play one more season there. They're gone after the season. It's done. I thought it might be something nice, but whoop, that's some petty shit. And the 5th-year option was like another $50 million.
Wait a minute. Hold the fuck on. Ian said this in the chat, and I had no idea what he was talking about when he said Mendick gave up 7 runs. I was like, what?
Oh, no.
Danny Mendick pitched in AAA tonight.
Oh, okay. All right, so it was only 18-11.
Danny Mendick, AAA debut did not go as planned as he got shelled. He allowed 6 earned runs, including 2 homers and 2 innings pitched. He topped out at 56.3 mile per hour, relying heavily on his slider, which graded out to a negative 266 TJ stuff plus. Hopefully, he can be more effective the next time out. His fastball, no, dude. He threw a slider, a curveball, and a changeup, and nothing higher than 54 miles an hour. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, who had this huge breakdown on?
Did he, this guy, Thomas Nestico at TJ Stats, he does like massive breakdowns on pitchers.
Okay.
Why? I mean, did he pitch just because it was a blowout? He had to have, right? This isn't a thing. He pitched 2 innings.
Well, yeah, I think it was. I think it's literally because it was a blowout, wasn't it?
Okay, it had to have been. I mean, because he's coming back from injury and shit. I didn't know if like they were like trying to do a thing with him, but I don't think so.
No, yeah, no, no. I don't think we had this next Shohei. Or the next
No,
Matt,
but-
is he trying to do up Matt Davidson? I don't think so.
Yeah, there's been some guys that have got hurt and then they gave it a go at pitching to try to stay in the show. But
No, I think this was just a position player.
position player, yeah.
I don't think I needed this in depth. I mean, hey, shout out for this guy tuning out.
Right. I mean,
I don't think this needed that breakdown.
Wow.
God, here
That
come
would
the
be like
bots.
breaking down the Frank Schwindel appearance against the Yankees back in 21 or 2022.
Here come the bots on one of my comments. All of a sudden, it's like mass, like something that has nothing to do with anything. Bots.
Oh, here's my other overreaction for the White Sox. I did have one more. I've seen this guy pitch twice. He's given up runs twice. Tim Hill sucks, guys. I don't know. I don't think he's it. I think he's bad. I don't
Tim
think
Hill
he's
very bad.
I don't
Tim
think he's
Hill's
bouncing
very
back.
bad. No, very bad. Tim Hill sucks. He's not good. I'm done. The White Sox bullpen is a problem.
They look so good in a couple games, or that first game against Detroit. They look good, and then damn.
Yeah, there's been more bad than good. Well, let me look at this. Obviously, Crochet is the gem here. Soroka had
He was bad.
not a great first outing. He gave up 7 hits, 4 earned, 1 homer, 3. No strikeouts. He did not strike one person out. Fidge, your boy, Fetty Wap looked pretty
he
good,
looked
but can you give him a call and tell him to hurry it up a little bit? Holy fuck, does he take a time between pitches?
Hey, he's got rhythm. It's his rhythm.
But he went 4 2/3 inning, had 7 Ks, only 1 walk, gave up 2 homers though. But they were both solo shots, 2 earned runs, 5 hits. But I see the potential. Yeah, a lot of pitches. I see the potential though. I feel like he can be a serviceable starter. Flexing, K.
Bad.
Not great.
He's gonna be a DFA like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably. And yeah. But who got shelled?
Well, Flexen against the Braves.
Flexing got shelled. But Dominic Leone,
Oh yeah, reliever.
yeah, not great. Brian Shaw, I know he's 100 years old, but like not great. And again, Tim Hill,
Bad.
supposed to be this lefty specialist. Not great.
Well,
Not
I
good at all.
again shout out to Beefa. I was hearing him. I think that first time that he blew. I don't think it was a save, but maybe extra innings or the 9th. I forget. The Tigers just like pinch hit righties. And it's like, oh, maybe that was on Pedro. It's like, hey, kind of know that your lefty reliever who's only good against lefties is going to get pinch hit against.
Right. And I mean,
So,
there has been some like Jordan
You got to learn when to
Leisure.
use guys, I guess.
I like Jordan Leisure. I think Jordan Leisure could be something. Brebbia. John Brebbia. He's not bad. But yeah, I'm good on Brian Shaw. I'm good on Tim Hill. I'm good on Dominic Leone. I'm good on all these guys. And we've talked about it on the show. It's tough for a reliever to get that ERA down. I'm done with those guys, dude.
Damn. All right.
This bullpen was very disappointing.
I wanted to ask you this: how many home runs does Paul DeJong have to hit to keep him on the roster while he's hitting like 150?
I mean, you come in and keep hitting pitch hit home runs to beat the Braves. I'll take it.
Like, how low can everything else be? But it's like, okay, he's hitting enough home runs.
I don't know. With this team, I don't know. I do not know. I mean, he's not good. Like,
Yeah, he's not good. He's not good.
but he's hit with the offense struggling to put together a string of hits or have timely hitting. He just pops up and hits 2 dodongs at the right time. Yeah. I mean, 85 homers. Ian says he's got to hit 85.
He's
then-
basically his career kind of he's better defensively and at a better premier position. But it's like kind of Patrick Wisdom. Like the
Yep.
dude can hit home runs. But man, he can't really do much else.
The last thing I want to talk about with the White Sox before I want to look around the league a little bit. My guy, Mr. Shoemake. First major
You
league
should have
pitch
bet his
he
home
sees.
run.
Fucking see ya. My man's is batting 300. Hit a homer. He's got the only stolen. The White Sox have stolen one base. Shoemake's that guy. Yeah, I mean, 2 runs on 3 hits, 10 at bats, batting 300. I think
Do you want him starting over Nicky Lopez at second?
no, I'm starting at short. My boy Shoemake has not struck out, not once. Man's up there doing his thing. Yeah, fuck it. I'm a Brandon Shoemake guy.
Okay. I did not have that.
Like the cut of his jib. There has been some pretty wild starts to the season. I don't think anybody had the Angels penciled in tied for the lead in AL West. And the homie, the third baseman, what's his name? The dude that got paid and doesn't even like baseball.
Rendon.
Not even close to a hit. He's like 0 for 21.
No, I forget what the update it was after they won on Wednesday and they swept the Marlins, but when they started 3-2 or whatever they were, they had like you know that Mike Trout meme or like the Trout and Ohtani meme that was like these guys went 4 for 7, hit 3 home runs, Angels lost 10-7. Well, this season it's the opposite. It's like the Angels are like third to last in runs. Their pitching isn't good. Their defense is bad. They're in first place.
Yep. I mean,
again, one weekend. It's
right. No. These are overreactions. But Rendon has played in 5 games. He's had 19 at bats, no hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. 0 fucks. He just does not care, dude, at all. But
quick little note here: the Dodgers are going to be a problem this weekend. They just keep fucking hitting home runs.
And Ohtani scoring from first base on like routine single. It's just that's gonna be that.
I think they've scored at least 5 runs every game.
Who else is kind of surprising right now? Nationals are 2-3.
The Pirates are like what 5-1.
5-1, man, with a +16 run differential.
They're beating up on the Nationals though. So
yeah,
just like the Cubs. Cubs are beating up on the Rockies. The
Dodgers are 6-2. Diamondbacks are 4-3. Mariners 3-4. We got Guardians at 5-2, but again, they were in Oakland.
AL West. Do you guys care about like no hitters? I feel like
not as much as I used to.
Not as much, not anymore.
I didn't even like. They're like,
it's a good day. Good day at the office.
Like, good for that dude.
Did you see that guy's story though? It was great. I think he's like a 30-year-old guy who hasn't really pitched that much.
This is this is the lift and pull era, right, for you. This is that whole approach, which is dying. Thank God. Thank you, Cody Bellinger and players like him that are utilizing a 2-strike approach. Now we can get rid of that. It'll happen a lot less. But I do think that we are at the worst, like the most sink or swim or feast or famine moment in baseball history when it comes to offense. So it's not shocking to me that there will be a whole game where a dude goes out there and finds the blue against some of these swings. And now that hopefully it won't happen as much, but it's a stretch that it's unprecedented right now, this stretch. And this is why guys are adjusting at the plate though too. That's why again I'm super stoked when you hear you hear about other guys with an approach, having that 2-strike approach. So hopefully. But this is what happens, man. And some of these guys throw so damn hard that on a good day when you're lightning, I mean, let's not pretend like no hitters aren't crazy in a lot of ways. I mean, Doc Ellis threw a no hitter on acid. He walked like 7 guys, but he was literally still tripping on acid when he threw the no hitter. Weird things happen, man. Guys get good, and sometimes it just happens. But it happens more against these swings than ever.
So on the flip side,
it's cool.
The Marlins are 0-7. The Mets are 0-4.
Hate to see that.
I very, very, very early into a 162 game season. But holy shit, the Marlins look bad. I thought that was going to be a team too, man. They have looked.
I know they were a fluke last year, and that's on the Cubs for not being able to get one fucking clutch hit in Miami that weekend, late in April, early May, that should have put them ahead of the Marlins in the wild card race at the end of the season. The Marlins, fugazi, like that offense. I know they added Jake Burger at the trade deadline. Solid bat. I know Tim Anderson, whoop-de-doo. He's not good.
I'm actually looking right now. Tim is probably one of their better hitters. I mean, again,
Singles
smartest dumb
machine.
kid.
No, I'm just
He also leads the team in strikeouts. But go ahead.
And that's the thing, Tim Anderson, the decline. He wasn't a big strikeout guy before. He was the contact guy. You can't be striking out like that if you're like a singles hitter. The Marlins karma, them firing Kim Ng because they're like, we're going to demote you after you brought us to the playoffs and then they didn't do anything all offseason. So fuck the Marlins. Good. I'm glad.
Anderson. Look at Tim Anderson leading from the clubhouse. Leader, Tim Anderson.
He's batting 231, 26 at bats, 6 hits, 1 double, 1 RBI, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, leads the team. You know who is balling though, and I'm happy to see him doing pretty well. Jake Burger, man.
Yeah, Jake Burger.
No home runs yet for Jake, but he's batting 310.
There you go.
At 29 at bats, dude. He's got 1 double. He's a singles machine. 8 RBIs for Jake.
Timely knocks. I like it.
I wonder what is there a team that can really use some timely hitting right now?
Could you imagine if last year, because remember the talk was that the White Sox were basically offering the Marlins, all right, do you want Eloy or do you want Burger? And they picked Burger.
Yeah, I wish that was the other way around. Because, I mean, how can you not root for Jake Burger?
Yeah.
I mean, what a story. And he's such a good guy, such a good family. His wife's super sweet, and they do all the stuff with the baby. Like when the baby's in the stands, he always hits a home run and shit like that. Like Jake Burger rates very high on the 30 rack scale. Like I would definitely drink a 30 pack of Busch Lights with Jake Burger.
Speaking of, I know it hasn't happened yet. Again, cold weather. Well, Texas was indoors, but really. Michael Busch, we briefly talked about on his good night Wednesday. He's hitting the ball hard. Like we're gonna have some weeks where we're gonna throw down some Busch beers, but it's coming. It's coming. 0 for week 1, but it's coming. He's hitting the ball hard, which is
Who's falling out here for the Pirates, man.
I mean, O'Neal Cruz, I think, is solid now.
Let's see what's going on here.
Reynolds, maybe.
They've been grinding out wins too. Look, I mean,
no, Reynolds definitely has been good because he's on me and Mitch's fantasy team. Yeah. Who's doing well here? I mean, they got a bunch of guys that are like, they got a bunch of guys that are hitting over 250. And when you combine all that together, you get a good, like O'Neal Cruz, 261. Brian Reynolds is hitting 286. They each have a homer. I'm a big Jack Zawinski guy.
Chicago kid, right?
I believe so. I like the way he plays. He's got pop. He's fast. He's batting 211 for him. He's got a homer. Only 4 strikeouts to 2 walks. I like that kid though. I think I might be becoming a Pirates fan, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're a Reds guy. Speaking of your Reds, the Cubs have a morale problem right now. Ellie De La Cruz had 3 errors on Tuesday.
One of the most overrated players in baseball. I've said it when I picked the Reds.
They have a problem there because that guy was a freak
he's
prospect.
Not hitting either.
Came up, his first month was amazing, and then ever since then he hasn't been good.
No, not like
he hasn't been average.
Remotely.
He's been really bad.
Let me see here. 24 at bats. He's got 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 doubles, 1 triple, no homers, 12 strikeouts. Leads the team.
That's what I'm saying.
250. His OPS is .697.
Like they had, and like if the defense, he's playing shortstop, premium defensive position. If he keeps struggling there, they have a problem because it's like, shit. We thought this guy was going to be our star shortstop. Now is he going to be a DH? Again, I don't know how deep his defensive issues, if they stretch back to last year or not. I just saw that he had a terrible game on Tuesday.
When the thing with him though, and I think Fitz touched on it when we were talking about Morel, Ellie's an athlete, man, like a freak athlete.
Yeah.
And I just gotta believe that a guy that's athletic is going to be able to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. But it also gives them no excuses for not figuring it out. That's the thing.
Right.
And it makes it very easy to detect if they are working at it. That's the thing, that the unfortunate byproduct of being a freak show. That you get more opportunities. People have a short or longer leash for you, obviously, as a positive, but it also is very obvious if you're not putting in the time, because the little things show. Because sooner or later, you can't just rely on ability only. You have to actually be a ball player, and that's where you see some of these guys separate.
Yeah, you got to develop that skill. That was the Cubs announcer, John Shiander, brought that up. He was talking with the council. Like, it's like, yeah, this. And again, I guess that comes through work, like putting in the work. Like, you can have all the athleticism in the world, but you need to develop that skill. And
Reps,
you don't,
for sure.
and we're seeing that with Morel right now. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
It's repetition. It's not, you don't want to look at it and say you don't know the game of baseball, blah blah blah. It's literally fine tuning your hand-eye coordination. It's a muscle. It's not, and if you don't work that muscle, the muscle isn't going to take. You are going to be subpar where you should be beyond that. And that's what you can't just go out there and take 10 grounders and call it a day. Just like you can't go hit off the tee, take 10 cuts and then call it a day. You'll be a dog shit hitter if that's what you do. You got to get out there. You got to take 50 backhands. You got to take 50 forehands. You got to do 50 crashes, 50 deeps, and you got to just do a couple, tailor-mades, right? I mean, there's so much work, to be a defensive player. That's an hour and a half to 2 hours in the off season, generally more time than you're going to probably spend hitting. That's it. And you usually should be working out 3 to 4 hours in the off season, roughly 4 days a week, I'd say, at least. And then obviously doing cardio and conditioning and stuff like that. But if you're not doing that, if you're not putting in, I'd say 1 part offense, 2 or 3 parts defense, you're not doing it right. And you're taking the time off. It's fun to hit, man. It's fun. You get in the cage, dick around. It's great. Yeah, cage time's fun. But real ball players get out there and get dirty and get blisters, get hands, get raspberries, and they come home, with a glove worn out.
Also, in all fairness, and Drew mentioned the comment when talking about the Marlins, like their whole rotation is hurt.
Yeah, that sucks.
Jesus Luzardo's. I was high on him. I hope the Marlins keep struggling. And the Cubs trade for Jesus Luzardo in June. I think I have a good minor league. I have a good minor league overreaction here, guys. Who gets called up first this season? Colson Montgomery for the White Sox, or Owen Casey?
I thought you were gonna say Matt Shaw.
Matt Shaw was too easy because it's like because that can happen quicker. I feel because Cubs don't feel confident in Morel. And it's like, well, we need to.
I say Montgomery.
Pardon my ignorance here, but what position does Owen Casey play?
Outfield. So Casey's playing right field right now. He's up at AAA. His first week he's batting like 500.
Where would he play if he got called up? Because he's not playing right. Because that's
DH.
Suzuki. You're gonna call him up to DH?
Yeah,
but you got guys like Cooper that are hitting there in that spot, and Christopher Morel in that spot. So
that's what I'm saying. That's why it's an overreaction because he's been so hot.
Yeah, Colson Montgomery. But you also
there's no obvious fit.
We might need a Shane Bieber here soon. Someone could
go. You have traded Owen Casey for Bieber?
I'm just saying that someone can clear a spot. I'm not saying it has to be Casey, but I'm saying that maybe
Bieber is balling.
Maybe you could find a roster spot for I don't know what Patrick Wisdom. Oh man.
Well, no, what?
And
I would do that too.
Red hot Nick Madrigal, and perhaps
I would do that too. We're not playing MLB the Show though.
No, that's true. Forced trade. No, I mean you're gonna have to give up something, but
who would you give up? It's only 1 year. You're only.
I don't think there's a spot for him this year. I think that he'll come up later in the season, maybe for if someone goes down, but I don't think that there's really a spot for him at this moment right now. Not the way that Bush is swinging it well, Cooper's swinging it well. The question marks we have is at third base defensively, which is an issue, but that bringing up Casey doesn't fix that issue.
That's true. We can't end this podcast. Shota Imanago.
Oh my God.
So two overreactions. One thing, Kevin, you're spot on when you were saying this guy's going to strike out 200 guys. If he stays healthy, he's going to get close to that, if not exceed it. But number 2, he's going to give up his fair share. Mm-hmm. There's going to be days in the summer where it's like, oh man, Shota 4 2/3, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 home runs. Like there's gonna be some.
Or this is my look. Fergie Jenkins made a career out of giving up solo home runs. Excessive. He was the Cubs all time home run leader, but most of them were solo jacks. Why? Don't put anybody on.
He doesn't walk guys, which is you just love.
That's the key. So you're going to give up a couple solo jacks. He might have some games where it's like he went 5, because strikeouts are going to burn some pitches too. So, but he's so efficient too, by the way. I love that. Is that he'll burn some, maybe, strikeouts do burn some pitches. So he might have like a 9 strikeout game, maybe go 5 innings, give up like 3 runs, maybe 4 runs. And they're all like, one's a 2-run jack off a nubber. A guy gets a nubber ahead of a guy that hits a jack, and then another 2 solo jacks or just like 2 solo jacks, whatever. But that's the thing I liked about it, is the fact that he did give up the fly balls, but his command and everything was effortless.
That yelp happened at the exact same time. I was like,
that would.
She's good, man. She knows her timing.
He works well, and that's the key. Like, I love watching him work. He gets up there, gets the baseball, gets that, and gets going. Gets going. Oh man, but yeah, I like how he works. Like, he's fun to watch. Like, he's really fun to watch. So that's going to be a must see TV just to watch him pitch every 5th day. That's going to be fun.
I wasn't obviously not tuned into the game, but I saw you guys start talking in the chat about what he was doing, so I had to turn it on, and you guys got something there. I was a little worried when he was coming in about him being a soft tosser or whatever, but like, that ain't the case.
Splitter
is nasty.
That is nasty. And then the other thing I want to leave the show with, because I laughed, the Angels are currently what are they, tied for first place with the Rangers at 4-2, and Aldo said, who would have known that Shohei Ohtani was the clubhouse cancer for the Angels? And then some Fed said all the gambling shit. Oh, dude, I was laughing my ass off.
So can I say this real quick as a little leak? And you guys know how optimistic I've been about the Oakland Athletics moving to Vegas, right? Mm-hmm. I have a little birdie's talking tonight, actually, specifically now, that they've heard from multiple sources that Bally's Tropicana deal is fucked for several different reasons.
Oh, no.
And I'm
what
like,
does that mean?
Kevin, what can that mean? Is it going to be the Sacramento A's?
I'm included in this. I assumed the Tropicana going away was part of this deal. And so he said people are wrongly assuming that because the Tropicana closed permanently yesterday. That's the site. That's the hotel that's on the site. So they're still demolishing it. But that he said it's a mistake to think that that's somehow proof that it's happening. I'm like, oh. And this is, I mean, you know me. I've been very optimistic about this. But this is a good birdie. Something to keep an eye on. They may never leave Sacramento. Who knows?
Oh, my God. You know what? And honestly, I know it sucks for Oakland fans, but that owner just seems like a giant.
Yo, he's the worst.
Yep. I like this, though, and we talked about this, too, is Vegas has an infrastructure in place now. So if somehow something happens where they fuck it up here in Vegas and they don't move to Vegas, Vegas actually has clean hands. So MLB will look fondly at that when they do go to the expansion route, which is what I think Vegas would be better off as an expansion franchise. But we still have the infrastructure. The legislation still exists. All that stuff to build the stadium still all exists. It would just have to be an expansion process instead. And it doesn't have to be at the side of the Tropicana. Yeah. It could very easily be at the side of where they're going to be tearing down the Rio or whatever. So all this stuff, Vegas rises and falls. But this is really interesting to me because this is a good birdie. It's a good birdie.
Oh, man.
So I got my eye. And then I also learned that the Excalibur still makes a fucking shit ton of money. I don't know how. That place is such a shithole.
I mean, I'm going to be upfront here. Like, obviously you're right there in Vegas, Kevin, and you've been hearing all this stuff for the past couple of years. In my mind, I've always since the talk ever started, in my mind, I was just like, yeah, they're moving to Vegas. Like, everything's a done deal. Like, remember when the Washington Commanders, when they were selling, but it was like a long process, and you kept getting updates, and it's like, wait, wasn't this like already done? And then you like another update, and you're like, wait, I thought it was already done like 6 months ago. Like, to me, this A's to Vegas, like, in my mind, it's been done for like a year and a half. What are all these updates?
This doesn't feel so far, other than just the hearing it from this person. It doesn't feel much different than the Raiders move. The Raiders move, it was like I could have made hundreds of dollars betting people that the Raiders were going to come because they were sure they weren't going to come even once the construction was going on during COVID. They thought that they were going to cancel the construction. Like it was all the way up to basically opening day in an empty stadium at Allegiant Stadium, and then for people to realize, and then since then, Allegiant Stadium has been like the most profitable stadium in the world, I believe, or in the U.S. One of the two. Like it like concerts and everything, like not just like sporting events, but so it's literally way ahead of schedule, especially with the room tax, because we've had record visitors here. We are like 5 years ahead of that whatever it's called, the bond thing. And again, we end the bond earlier. It's a shit ton more money that comes back to the city. Like just like with the Oakland thing, over the life of that bond deal, the city actually is going to make like $10 million if it all goes through. So whoever's in the stadium doesn't matter. But
I do want to quickly back to the Angels. I'm so glad Mike Trout is just dumping his dong on everyone right now.
Speaking of, that was
Yep.
Mike Trout, shirtless.
All right.
Me.
So if you're still here, God bless you. And also, thank you again to Ian and Missy. Make sure you guys are out there following them. So good episode, and this is the direction the show is going to be during the season. We want to bring more guests on to talk baseball, and we're going to get back to what we do. We're talking about the game we all love, statistics, players, what we think about different issues with both teams. I know the off-season podcasting is always tough, but I'm just glad that we're back in our groove here. So for Fids, Aldo, I'm Zoe. We will see you guys next